back, right? Say now Mitch Marner does leave and you have to make an offer to a Sam Bennett or somebody else. And worth noting, Mitch Marner and Bennett do share the same agent. So that's going to be interesting if one leaves and one comes in with the negotiations there as well. Yeah. So I think with that said, it just, you want to have that flexibility. You don't want to just be swinging for the fences blindly and just punting things to next year. They're they're making these moves, but they're very, very conscious of the future and the dollars and cents, which I think is matters most.
It's almost like a used car salesman. Mitch says, no, are you interested in this? Yeah. Look at this fine model. Yeah. Great mileage. Oh,
you can have it for the exact same price.
Take it out for a spin. Let them play an exhibition game.
Yeah. So what a business. What a business and what a league we're in, right? But I wouldn't change it for the world.
No, absolutely not. And this is, players exercising their options. And if you're old enough, you can remember when that didn't happen. So that's good news. I like that. So I unknown tonight in terms of finding chemistry for the Leafs guys and also for the Avs. So should be an interesting game that way.
Yeah, but again, it's, for, a Scott Laughton, it's like he's not coming in and playing with Austin Matthews. He's got to learn now to, learn his backhand toe drag or go backdoor. He gets to come in and not change his game whatsoever. Same thing with Brandon Carlo. They don't have to come in and reinvent their game. They just have to do exactly what they did. And, sometimes when you get traded to a new team, there's these expectations that you got to come in and be the go-to guy and the man, right away. What comes to mind for me is free agency with Clarkson, where he had to come in and be the next Wendell Clark and then see you later. He's out the door, right? So I think for these guys, the expectations are sort of tempered a little bit. They're manageable. They don't have to come in. They just have to be the best versions of themselves. And if they do that, they're going to help this team win a Stanley Cup.
Oh, man, that Clarkson signing, it was the preseason game where he hopped over the boards and got suspended. You go, this is not going to work.
There's $500,000 right there gone.
Oh, boy.
I just put a down payment on a new mansion. Oh, man, I got to wait to pay it off.
Right. But right from the start, I remember looking down on the ice going, this has just got a bad vibe to it. And it never improved.
Yeah, but I'll tell you that he was a great player. He did earn that contract, but I'm saying
absolutely.
It's a different market coming here, right? And that's why, sometimes before it was harder to sign guys because, I just always remember Brian McCabe when he got traded to Florida. He's like, I'm Brian McClutz, the guy from the front page of the Toronto Sun's front page when he crashed into the back of the net. Could you imagine that? I'm like, I had 20 worse moments than that in the NHL, and no one even knows about it except for the video coach, right? So, again, but the one thing is, it's the greatest hockey market in the world. You win, you are a legend. Again, I'm amongst, the Eric Lindroses and the Corsons and the Tuckers at these charity events. People worship them, and that goes beyond a couple extra $1 million when you're 40, 50, 60 years old. Those guys are living legends. Just the respect that they have in this hockey world, that's something that for me, I would pay $5 million if I had it to get that, what they have.
Well, and I think everybody understands that Leaf fans, and it would apply to all the Toronto franchises, they want you to leave your game on the ice. They don't want to see anything left. They just want to see who you are and just give what you have. That's the way this thing works.
It is, right? And again, I had a sports psychologist tell me, one time, when you're thinking about, if you're having a bad game or not, just picture yourself, for the fan that brought his son there, and he paid $300 for the tickets and $50 for food, and he's watching you. How would you like to perform? And when you put that in perspective, it's a tough job, but at the end of the day, you are playing a sport, and when you perform for the fans and you leave it all out there on the ice, that's all they ask about. That's all they ask. And for me, I didn't win anything at the Kingston Frontenacs, but I left it all out on the ice, and that's why my brother and I have our jerseys. One of, I think, 6 players in Kingston Frontenacs history to have our jerseys retired. So I wish I had that luxury or that skill to do it at the NHL level, but for the Mitch Marners and the Nylanders and the Austin Matthews, that's what awaits them if they continue to perform at the level that they are.
Now, Stu, if I was a psychologist, I would add one more line, $300 for the tickets, all that food and drink. Do something to make them spill the drink and drop the food. That's what I would say.
Yes, so they could go buy more. It's good for business. That's the MLSC in you, right? I can hear you.
Rattle the chiclets. Get them out of their seats.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, so, let's get back to the Riley Carlo pairing. How should that look on the ice? What are we going to look forward to here?
Yeah, I think, the microscope has shifted many times on Morgan Rielly, but I think it's a perfect time now as Riley's starting to find, his offensive game where he's putting the puck in the net and performing a little bit more. He's got 2 goals and 7 assists for 9 points in his last 10 games. But again, yes, he's been catching some minuses. And I just think with him playing with a Myers or an OEL on his offside, there just wasn't any chemistry there. So I think with Carlo there being that stabilizer, he can freewheel a little bit. Not saying he can go end to end and whatever, but he's at his best when he's activating, making plays, not worried about sitting back and losing his coverage in the D zone. So having Carlo, who's a stabilizer, he plays a heavy game. He's a defense first guy. He's almost a hybrid of McCabe and Tanev. He's not as quick as some of those guys, but he just goes out there and just has that ease to his game where now Riley's going to be like, you know what, I can't take a risk here. I can jump in a play knowing that I have that anchor on the back end. So, it's going to take some time for him to get his footing. I'm sure it's a good thing that it's on the road. He doesn't have to deal with, the media, every single day at home. It's going to give him a little bit of a wiggle room to sort of find his game, but I could see him, adding a good 20, 21 minutes and just really complimenting Rielly, which I think what Maple Leafs wanted the most in bringing in a Carlo type defenseman.
Yeah, I mean, really what you're saying there is Morgan Rielly can be Morgan Rielly now, right?
Yes, and again, I think it's like a right shot, a poor man's. Who am I looking for here? Jake Muzzin. That's who I'm looking for. Poor man's Jake Muzzin, where I don't think he has the offensive. I'm not saying Muzzin was offensive, but he's just a guy that he will shoot the puck down the wall into the corner as opposed to trying to maybe put it on net for a redirect. So I think the fans are going to be happy. It's not a sexy pick, but you're going to notice and appreciate his game in short time here for the Maple Leafs.
So you mentioned the games on the road. So what does that mean for Scott Laughton? I mean, it's a third line center. Obviously you don't have last change, so he's going to walk into some stuff here, isn't he?
Yes, and the one thing I could tell you is the air is very, very thin, where you are like 20% less of energy and breath because it's tough. And sure, the excitement and the adrenaline of getting traded, but I think for him, he's just got to manage his shifts. So I think what you're going to see is a couple short shifts for him, but I think he's going to be deferring. I could see him getting in on the penalty kill, but he's got a workhorse on his flank in Bobby McMahon who can do a lot of skating and do the skating for him. But I can see them rattling some bodies and getting in on the forecheck. And I would see them, with Max Domi on the other flank, I could see them creating some opportunities just with McMahon's speed and Domi's playmaking ability. So I'm interested to see that. But again, Colorado's a good team, so I could see it, being a tough matchup for the Maple Leafs who struggled in their last couple games.
Yeah, and a quick thought here: the special teams, Colorado's slightly better on the power play and slightly better on the penalty kill. So special teams could be an interesting battle tonight.
Yes, it can. So I think, again, another thing for Toronto is just discipline, right? You want to stay out of the penalty box as Colorado has this 8th best power play at 24%, and penalty kill is at the midway point of the league as well. So discipline is key because you do not want to see it turn into the Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar show because, again, they can have starring roles and they can ruin your night. And they're on a pretty good high right now with the moves they made. I want them to stay on that, and a good performance does that.
Tried not to mention Makar, kind of a big factor. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
Joe and Lucy needed a new roof and reached out to Alpine Credits.
BetMGM is the official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League and has your back
Leafs fans, how we doing this evening? Thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, cheering on our buds, having a good time, partying with our friends from all over the world. Thank you so much for being here. Now, please, this is your friendly reminder. Check to see if you've hit that like button, if you like hanging out with us and if you like the content here. If not, then feel free to, just ignore it or press the thumbs down button. Whatever. It is what it is. Now, let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
Started. This is Toronto Raptors basketball on Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
It's the beginning, we just got started.
It's great. I mean, I say it all the time when you're playing with a guy like Scotty. He's one of the most selfless stars that I've ever played with. Just the way his mindset is always defense first. He's versatile, can handle the ball, which takes the responsibility off me to, handle pressure. Can shoot it, can pretty much do everything that a basketball player needs to be able to do to be good. So it makes my job really easy. That's pretty much it. Makes my job easy.
That, of course, the voice of Emmanuel Quickley, who comes off a monster performance last night in the victory over the Utah Jazz. He will be resting tonight, but the Raptors back at it on the rare home back-to-back, and it's the first of two in the baseball series against the Washington Wizards, as the Raps will host the crew from D.C. on Monday night as well. Welcome inside Scotiabank Arena. Eric Smith, Paul Jones with you on Toronto Raptors basketball, brought to you by Tangerine Bank. This is how we fan. Tangerine, official bank of the Toronto Raptors. And Jonesy, as I just mentioned, Emmanuel Quickley, big last night. Scotty Barnes, fantastic as well. And that's what Quick was talking about, the 1-2 punch of Quickley and Barnes last night, securing Toronto's third straight victory, looking to make it 4 in a row tonight against Washington. And as we addressed a couple of times last night during the broadcast, there are some, whether it be fans, media, maybe even within the organization, I don't know, that are kind of looking a little sideways, going, hold on a second. Do we want to be winning? Should we be winning? Should we be looking at, more ping pong balls and more chances for the lottery and whatnot? Or is it about development? And that's something that Darko Rajakovic spent a great deal of time talking about in his pregame availability today, was development, individual development, player development, team development. You're going to hear some of those comments in a bit, but where do you stand on this, Jonesy, balancing, the development versus the lottery versus winning versus losing, etc.?
Listen, we've talked about it many times. It's hard to do both, win and develop. And if you ever get in a situation where you can do both, do it. And we saw that years ago when the Raptors had, the bench mob, when they had Fred and Pascal.
Yep.
And Norm and all those
Yak was part of that.
Jakob Poeltl, all those young guys, DeLon Wright. It was tough to do, win and develop. And development is code for I'm going to get beat and learn what to do. I think you have, if you're the Raptors right now, you owe it to development because of where you are in your rebuilding cycle. But at the same time, nothing fuels development faster than winning games and having positive results. Mm-hmm. So it takes the sting out of developing is code for losing and learning what to do. If you can learn what to do while you're winning, even better. So, I mean, it depends on where this team and the organization sees it following on the developmental continuum. If you're at the back end of it, then you're going to take losses. If you're trying to get to the
csp.colorado.gov/employment to learn more or connect with a recruiter. Applications are now open. Visit csp.colorado.gov/employment.
I got a nightmare phone call that no parent wants to receive.
Someone hit me going 60 miles an hour.
Dr. Ramos came highly recommended. When I showed him the x-rays, he immediately knew exactly.
And Boston's D's all zone and Phillies are a lot different than ours. There's certain areas where it's going to be a little bit different, and you just got to keep working with them. But, you go over things with them, and, they're experienced guys. They absorb it pretty well.
Who will be the odd man out up front for you guys?
Yarn Croc will be out tonight.
Is that just resting? Or?
Yeah, just, he's been out a long time, played a couple games. We're going to give him tonight off, and he can get ready for the next game. Still larger than that.
Carlo was just raving about Morgan Riley, says he's excited to play with him. What I guess it gives you the most?
Well, you got a guy that stays home. He's a stay-home D. He's been that way for a long time. He's played with a puck mover most of his career, and he has that with Riley. So we'll see how it goes.
Coach Berube, plenty of anticipation, and Stu, hockey does this the best. And so you had, on a certain flight from Philadelphia to Denver yesterday, you had Lawton seated beside Eric Johnson, teammates until the plane landed. And on a certain flight from Boston to Denver yesterday, you had Coyle and you had Brandon Carlo seated beside each other, and they were teammates until the plane landed. And tonight it's, hey, buddy, how are you? Oh, sorry about the hit.
Yeah, let's hope they flew first class, but that's a conversation for later. And again, I think that's sort of what's not really accounted for. This is the human factor, right? These guys' lives have sort of been turned upside down, whether it's expected or not. There is that human element, and they are human beings at the end of the day. Yes, paid very, very handsomely, but to say, hey, you know what? Just got traded. You got to hop on a flight, pack what you can, and you got a game tomorrow, and you better perform at a high level. If not, you might be out of the lineup. Well, that's a tough task. So that's something that I don't think the common fan really understands. But again, both players that are coming in, they're going to be big factors and have big roles for both their teams.
So as we said earlier in the broadcast, we were talking about everybody loading up, and there is the one Stanley Cup, and some of these teams loaded up and will be checked out in the first round. We all know what that feels like here. But in terms of when you look at the big picture, did somebody acquire a Stanley Cup yesterday?
Oh, well, we're on in Toronto, so the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course, right? But, we worked that Vegas game, right? And again, sometimes the moves you don't do are probably the best, but they did get Riley Smith, I believe, before the deadline. But that Vegas team, like winners, they've been atop of that division for pretty much the whole entire season. They're great. But Dallas, I think Dallas, they, just based on the failures of the past and the players that they've added at the deadline, and Mikko Rantanen being happy and, has his extension, he can just focus on playing hockey. I think Rantanen can be a difference maker based on what he did in Colorado for the last 7-8 years. I really like Dallas coming out of the West. That means Colorado might be out the first round. Believe that if they play each other and Colorado gets knocked out by Rantanen on a game-winning goal. Man, some heads are going to roll in Colorado if that's the case.
Well, there were people that reported that's one of the reasons Carolina didn't want to work with the Leafs on a deal, was because they didn't want to face Rantanen at some point in the playoffs.
Yeah, but when's the last time you saw the Leafs play them in the playoffs? What is that? When does that shake out? That's conference finals, right?
Well, that's a long time ago, but it did happen once.
There's a 1 in what chance? 1 in 20. 1 in 20. Every 20 years, right? You'll be long gone.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. It's wacky stuff, and but the one thing that we did talk about on a yearly basis, Vegas, Dallas, Tampa, and Florida will roll the dice at the deadline, and they do it consistently every year, and there are cups there. I mean, they've won cups.
Yeah, and it makes for parity. That's why I think the NHL is the best league in the world, because there's every year, there's 9-10 teams that are very, very contenders, and they make themselves bigger contenders based on what they do at the deadline. Whereas if the NBA, and I know you do a lot of the NBA games, there's legitimate, 4-5 contenders, right? So there's the contenders, and there's teams that can surprise them, surprise everybody and go on a run. Like, I would not be surprised to see Minnesota end up, maybe in the conference finals, right? Or even LA, right? So there's a lot of great teams, but it makes for great hockey, great parity. And for me, I'm like, you know what? Let's add 4 more teams for some HRR here. Let's go here.
Okay, so when the puck drops, when Bonesy and Ralphie come on, it'll be Matthews line starting for the Leafs. The defensive pairing will be OEL and McCabe, and the McKinnon line will start. And guess who? Taves and Makar in the blue line. That's a heavyweight matchup, isn't it?
Yes, and with this Colorado team, like, you got to watch out for this Nathan McKinnon line with March and Natchez, right? I think the line has 50 goals in their last 10 games just by themselves, so they got a lot of heaviness at the top of that lineup. So I think for Matthews, yes, you want to impress and put some pucks up, but you have to play a good two-way game because McKinnon and now added with Natchez, like, that line is deadly. So watch out for them. I'm going to be interested to see how that matchup fares tonight for Toronto.
So just a thought before we break and bring in Bonesy and Ralphie. So you're playing in the Mile High City. You're in the second period. You've got the long change. That has to be a massive challenge.
Yes, pucks in deep. You got to drink a lot of water. It's a very, very tough building. It's a very tough building to play on just because, again, you just seem like, am I in shape? It gets you questioning. And that's the worst thing you can do as a hockey player. Like, am I in shape? Am I a good player? And then, there's Nathan McKinnon. It's in the net.
Scores.
Yeah, I do suck. Yeah, so it can play mind games on you. And as a hockey player, you can get your body right. But when your mind is playing tricks on you, it's very, very tough. And it's tough to win when that's the case.
So the Avs are 7-3 their last 10. The Leafs 7-2-1. The Avs are riding a 4-game winning streak. So obviously the Leafs would like to put a pin in that balloon and would certainly like to have a much better start than they did against Vegas on Wednesday night, which now seems like a year ago.
Yeah, again, and they had a great start against the San Jose Sharks, getting out to a 2-0 lead. I think for them, they just got into too many puck races and foot and open ice back and forth with Vegas. So Colorado's another team that can really hurt you off the rush. They have depth. That top 9 is, I'll put that against any top 9 in the league. So I think they have to manage the puck, especially we talked about being in the Mile High City. Just get pucks in deep below the dots, get it on the forecheck, and try to get one early and stay out of the penalty box.
This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey. The face-off is next on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Baseball season's almost here, and MLB Network Radio will get you ready for opening day with a tour of spring training. Hear team previews of all 30 teams as our experts talk with players, managers, and executives shaping the 2025 season. How does your team look? Our team will break it all down. MLB Network Radio's tour of spring training going on now on Sirius XM Channel 89 and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito. You have to be cognizant of the chemistry when you go out and make a potential trade, don't you?
We enjoy a little bit of a benefit now where the room is so strong that they can absorb a lot. We just want seamless guys who come in. Your leaders are Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bobrovsky. That part, it takes care of itself.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
We welcome Utah's Barrett Hayton. Does the P word come up? Do you look at the standings on a daily basis?
You look at the standings, you obviously know what other teams are doing, but at the same time, we know what we have to do. And we talked about it kind of before the break and using the break to kind of have a springboard to this last stretch, kind of be dialed in and feeling good right from the start and trying to build that momentum.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
Pittsburgh is the weirdest situation. It's like the start of the year and you tried to pretend that, we're going to do a retool on the fly. No, you're not. They're terrible, but the attitude, nothing to look here. Keep moving. Nope, Sid wants to play. They're terrible. Like Sidney Crosby's next game that matters is the Olympics. That could be the only time he plays again in a game that matters.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Team Canada's John Cooper. Was the moment the red light went on better than you ever could have imagined?
I don't even think I could have dreamt that one up. From Mario Lemieux all the way to the Jordan Binnington moment, to the Connor McDavid moment, all these little moments have built up that all the team gave a special moment you'll never forget. I think our game of hockey is in a much better place because of that event.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to. If he played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Salah to score!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history.
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favourite team.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream your favorite shows on your smart speaker. Simply tell your smart speaker to listen to TSN 1050. Everywhere you want it.
The Leafs are mile high after the trade deadline. They tangled with the Colorado Avalanche. And the starting lineup brought to you by Molson, the official beer sponsor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anthony Stolarz, who has never faced the Colorado Avalanche. 13-5-3, 2.21 is goals against average, 9.25 the save percentage. And Mackenzie Blackwood, who is 23-16-5 for the Avalanche this year, 2.50 and a 9.16 save percentage. The Leafs will start Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Jake McCabe on defense, and the forward line of Austin Matthews, Matthew Nyes, and Mitch Marner up front. And the opening face-off brought to you by Alpine Credits. You own your own home and need a loan. Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca.
Now, do you think at any point Charlie Coyle and Brandon Carlo were saying, I bet you we play against each other next week in Denver?
Really high. Well, the puck is dropped. We're underway. Leafs to the left and the Avalanche to the right as the cameraman loses the puck, but it's shot deep into the Avalanche zone. A centering pass came right by everybody and is slid all the way back to Stolarz. He'll tuck it around back of the net and play it into the corner. And now Oliver Ekman-Larsson starts out with it with a pass up the middle. Trying to chip it ahead was Nyes. He gets it down into the zone. The Leafs, of course, I thought Brad Treliving did a marvelous job acquiring Scott Lawton, the Oakville native from Philadelphia, and Brandon Carlo, who is just a miserable, large defender, to be a part of this team going forward into the postseason. A shot rings off the goalpost, taken by Brock Nelson, just acquired from the Islanders. The Leafs get it to the line, but not out. Long shot directed wide of the goal. Nelson after it on the near boards. Plays it in front of the net. They score! Nikushkin coming across the middle. I think gets a piece of this. And a goal 56 seconds into the frame, and Colorado out in front 1-0.
And this comes moments after the Leafs dodged the bullet on Brock Nelson hitting the goalpost. Avalanche continue just throwing the puck to the net from the point. And yeah, this is a point shot. Left wing boards. Lindgren, who has been acquired from the New York Rangers, throws it to the net. And Nichushkin with the redirect right in front of Anthony Stolarz to give the Avalanche the early lead in this one. Leafs fell behind 3-0 in Vegas and never recovered.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Grabbed off now by Benoit. Backhanded up the boards, and it'll get to the line, but not out. A long shot goes over top of the Toronto goal. Now McMahon getting it freed up for Benoit, but he runs into a traffic jam. The puck kept in now by Colorado. Avalanche pressing now as they get it into the corner. Back to the point, long shot deflected in front of the net, grabbed off then by the Leafs, and Domi will get it out but can't get away. Grabbed off in the neutral zone by Samuel Girard. Girard plays it in over the line, left wing side for Parker Kelly. Kelly around back of the net, overskated the puck. O'Connor for the Avalanche playing it along the boards, but it's poked up on the wing, and now David Camp gets it back of the net. The Leafs trying to organize, getting it up on the wing, and Domi gets it out into the center ice area, and it's backhanded into Colorado territory. Camp into the forecheck. In against the boards, trying to get it around back of the net. Couldn't make a play. Good hit there by Lorenz, but it's brought out at center ice again and into the line and shot in by Josh Manson. Round back of the net, Morgan Riley. Riley up on the left wing. Robertson goes rink wide to find Camp. Camp rings the boards with it to get it back of the net. Not far enough to reach the winger, and back come the Avalanche with a rush down on the near boards for McKinnon, and his pass in front of the net was behind its intended receiver. Leafs get it out at center, and now Matthews playing it back into his own zone. Morgan Rielly takes the pass on the near wing and gets a pass up on the left wing for Marner. Marner couldn't handle it. Here's McKinnon back again. McKinnon trying to get in but couldn't get around Jake McCabe. Centering pass is intercepted by Nyes. Nyes gets it back again on the near wing. Goes D to D on the far side to find Jake McCabe, who has difficulties handling it, and then gets it out at center ice. Marner to Nyes. Backhand try, drops it back into the slot. Marner scores! The Leafs tie the game on Mitch Marner's shot. Set up by Matthew Nyes, and we're in a bit of a shootout already.
This is very similar to the location Marner scored from in Vegas in the third period. Shot going blocker's side on Wedgwood. And that coming after Nathan McKinnon led a 2-on-1 rush back the other way that just didn't go for Colorado. Matthew Nyes drives into the Colorado zone, pulls up with his back to the net, and lays it out to Mitch Marner. And Marner with the great shot just inside the post blocker side to tie this game at 1.
Seventh time Mitch Marner has hit the 20-goal plateau in his career. And the Leafs tie the game as Nyes gets the initial assist. We'll wait and see the additional one. The first goal came 56 seconds in, and this response is a good one and a needed one that comes fairly quickly. Nylander, unable to reach the puck as a long shot, is taken chest high by Anthony Stolarz, and there'll be a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. Scott Laughton will wear number 24. Brandon Carlo will wear number 25. Laughton has worn number 21 with the Flyers. That one is hanging in the rafters.
Yeah, you don't want to be asking for 17, 21, even 27. I'm surprised it's been worn as much as it has over the years.
Up at center ice now. The puck turned over by the Leafs to get it ahead. And in across the line looking for Nylander. That was blocked. Tavares got rubbed out on the boards and then kind of interfered with as the puck comes in over the line. Grabbed off now by Colorado. Gerard to the right wing side, trying to work in around back of the net. Trying to get there is Parker Kelly. Dished off now for Nichushkin. Nichushkin taken in along the boards, got it back to the point, and it gets by everybody and slides out into the center ice area. Manson going back, got it up ahead at center off a stick. It bounces in over the line. And now here is Brandon Carlo getting it out at center. Right-handed shot, which is very important as a rolling puck goes in on Blackwood, and he'll cover up. But he is 6'5" and 2 1/4. That's a long wingspan and a whole lot of miserable.
Now, isn't it amazing, though? Every team around the deadline will say the same thing. We need help up the middle and a defenseman that can play in your top 4 or 5. And Brad Treliving was able to get that. And I know other teams have made more spectacular moves at the deadline, but you and I have talked about this. Not a lot in the history of trade deadlines have the big deals resulted in championships.
So it is a 1-1 tie. Played down into the Toronto zone. Stolarz gets it into the corner. Rink-wide pass looking for Matthews. And it went off his stick, and Marner couldn't help him out. Taking it back into his own zone is Lehkonen. Played up ahead. Martin Necas gets it to center, and in on the left wing. It is pushed into the Toronto zone. McCabe is back. Chris Tanev not in the lineup, although has been skating with the team on this road trip. So the Leafs don't have their full defensive complement in the lineup for the first time. Played back into the zone by Nyes. Nyes trying to work in along the boards. One-handed it into the corner, but Robertson couldn't help him out. Played back out at center. Robertson trying to get to a loose puck, but can't. And Parker Kelly regroups it now for Colorado back in their own zone. One of those C teams anyway. Played around the boards then by Benoit. Chipped out off the glass to center. Camp couldn't push it ahead. He had Lorenz breaking, but now here are the Avalanche back in on the right side. O'Connor stops up, gets it down into the corner for Kelly. Kelly lost the puck, played to the line and out. It'll slide into Avalanche territory, and changes coming for both teams. Drury got it ahead at center, backhanded in by Josh Manson. Around back of the net, Riley got it up on the wing, pushed out at center, but it misfires, and this could turn into an icing, and it will. And it'll give us an opportunity to introduce the third team on the ice. Gord Dwyer and Carter Sandlak are the referees. Joe Mahone and Bevan Mills are the linesmen.
Officials get judged every game as well, and it's a big deal for them, obviously, to be able to work the postseason. Wouldn't it be better, though, if you let general managers vote?
Oh, no one would work.
Or coach.
Are you kidding me? Everyone's got somebody on the I hate him list in that department. Here are the Avalanche with a shot, and they score on a turnover. And Stolars gives up a pair on the first 4 shots on goal, and it is 2-1 Colorado, and Nichushkin has a pair of them.
Again, Colorado having the mindset, fire everything from the point. And this didn't really seem like much of a play. It was a nice play by Brock Nelson to get it off the right wing boards out into the circle to Nichushkin. And he gets it on a stick. He just turns. Brendan Carlo. Again, the only one between the Leaf goaltender and the Colorado shooter. And it gets past Carlo and up over the left shoulder of Anthony Stolars.
So it is a 2-1 game. Avalanche with the lead here in the first period. And they're coming fast and furious. At the point, Ekman Larsson, left wing side. A shot directed wide by Blackwood. Nichushkin with his second goal of the period. At center ice, Girard shoots it down into the Toronto zone. McCabe trying to punch it along the boards, couldn't make a move with it. Tavares gets it free, and he'll just play it out at center ice. Too far for Nylander. Kevin Taves getting it back in his own zone. Out comes Makar in across the line with the shot. Juggled, but smothered by Stolars, and he will hold on for a faceoff coming in the Colorado zone. Valerie Nichushkin has scored twice. Mitch Marner once. And a lot of scoring in the early going. It's 2-1 Avalanche. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Jesus, take the lead. As the country idol turned icon returns to the stage that made her a superstar.
I honestly feel like God had to open the doors of American Idol for me to step through to say, this is what you're going to do, and then I could give it my all.
Keep up with Carrie Underwood and dive into her musical world on her exclusive Sirius XM channel, Carrie's Country, Channel 60, and at home with the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito. You have to be cognizant of the chemistry.
What's up, Insiders? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Maple Leafs game. Now's the time of the show for you to let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Speaking of which, where's Tom? Tom!
I'm right here, Dad.
Hey.
And I want to know where you're from, too, and see how far it reaches.
All right, so you heard the man. Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. City and province in Canada, city and state in the United States, all over the world. Let us know. Put your flag emoji in the chat, or let us know your city and country. So great to be hanging out with all of you tonight. Now let's get back to the hockey. What are we going to start? Start the chant, Tom.
Go Leafs, go.
Yeah.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Want to send our congratulations out to Dale Hunter, the head coach of the London Knights, who recorded his 1,000th victory, all with the Knights. He trails only Brian Kilray, who coached you, Jimmy, in Ottawa with 1,194. Bert Templeton is third on that list of Canadian Hockey League wins at 907. And Bert coached a number of teams in the OHL. Played around the boards and into the Avalanche zone. Backhanded behind the net. Nyes trying to knock it down. Ekman-Larsson has pinched in on the right side, but now is trapped. And out come the Avalanche to center with McKinnon. Getting it across the line. A drop pass onto the left wing side. And unable to get the shot away there was Necas. It comes back to the point. Necas now shooting it, and that was blocked. The rebound to the left wing side. Marner couldn't steal it from Taves. It goes down around back of the net. Still free, and now Marner coming out with it on the right wing side. Slows things up, waiting to get teammates to get a chance to change. And off the bench, it's played ahead, and a wrist shot taken there by Pontus Holmberg was knocked aside. Tavares trying to work back at the net, couldn't get to it. McCarr lost it to him, though. Here's Tavares trying to center. He did, but it went right by Pontus Holmberg, and now brought out at center ice by Nichushkin. He got it across the line, and Nichushkin has got both Colorado goals. Drouin dropping it back into his own zone, and the Avalanche will organize with 11:41 left to play in the first period. 2-1 Colorado. Riley got the puck free. Played into the slot area, but there's no one over there. Nylander had blown the defensive zone, hoping for a long pass. It didn't happen. Carlo was taken to the boards heavily, and Brock Nelson unable to get to it. Brandon Carlo starts up the right wing boards. He'll get to center and shoot it in. Robertson into the forecheck. So was David Camp. Couldn't get to it initially. Camp now does. Reverses his field a couple of times, trying to get it back to Lorenz. Lorenz centers, but Robertson was a little bit deeper, and it was intercepted by Parker Kelly. Avalanche get it out at center and down into the Leaf end. Stolarz out of the goal. Playing it around the boards on his forehand. Benoit tries to help him out. Into the corner it goes. One of the Avalanche players knocked down, Jack Drury, but it comes back to the point. Long shot, blockered away by Stolarz, and Lorenz will get it to the line, but not out. Kept alive on the backhand and sent into the corner back of the net. Benoit couldn't get to it, neither could Camp. Back to the point, D to the near side. Trying to shoot it is Girard. Loose puck in on the goaltender, but Stolarz has gotten a piece of that. Now we get Benoit giving a pretty good shot to Parker Kelly, and that's drawn people involved. O'Connor is in there as well. 10:25 to go in the first period. The Avalanche with a 2-1 lead. I don't think there are going to be penalties here, although there was certainly enough pushing and shoving and hacking and whacking.
Well, Colorado just throwing everything to the net from the points, aren't they? There, Logan and Connor got in front.
Okay, I was wrong.
All right, couple of cross-checking penalties.
Benoit and Parker Kelly will sit out 2, so they'll play 4-on-4 here.
Colorado out shooting the Leafs 7-4. 2 of the first 4 got past Anthony Stolarz. Joseph Woll against Vegas on Wednesday night ended up giving up 3 on 7, and that was the end of his evening. So the starts for the Leafs, and really, because it's been such a luxury all season, average goaltending has been the case here. You go back to the Pittsburgh game last Sunday afternoon as well.
Leafs control the puck. Marner dropping it back for McCabe. Now to Ekman-Larsson through center, dropping it back. Marner trailing the field. Now runs into a traffic jam, and it is Stolarz getting it for Jake McCabe. McCabe ahead for Matthews to Marner, back to Matthews, and Matthews brings it out at center, but slows up to drop it back. Ekman-Larsson weaving through traffic, gets into the zone. Dropping it back now on the boards for Jake McCabe to Marner. Marner, a little touch pass for Matthews that was blocked. Now back into the corner for Matthews, centering, and it went right past Marner, and it's come all the way to center because the Leafs were changing their defense. Marner back in the neutral zone. Heels head for the bench as he drops it off for Brandon Carlo. Carlo waiting for teammates to change. Got it to Morgan Riley. Riley to center. Doesn't get it into the zone. And Carlo has to get a pass from Tavares to regroup back in the Toronto zone. His feed was intercepted. Hansen playing it off on the wing and now brought out by Girard. He'll get it up on the right wing side, and is Necas going wide. Necas gets it back into the slot, and a shot was blocked in front of the net. I think Brandon Carlo may have gotten in the way of that. Puck sent down into the Avalanche zone, but quickly brought back the other way. Girard wheels his way in on the left wing into the slot area now with another shot off the blocker of Stolars, and the Leafs will counter with Domi coming back. Domi gets through the defense, in on goal, but couldn't deliver a backhand. Gets it back into the slot, and a shot taken there by Ekman Larsson that was blockered away. Leafs into the attack now with Domi getting it into the slot. Dropped off for Ekman Larsson. OEL gets it into the slot again for Domi. Domi works to the left wing boards. Drops back for Ekman Larsson. Tries to play it back to Domi, but it went off his stick. And now here the Avalanche regrouping it back of their own goal. Coincident minors are over. 8:16 to play in the period. 2-1. Avalanche with the lead. Lindgren on the left wing side for Devon Taves, who gets to the line and in, pokes it into the corner. Myers got there first. Riley helps out by playing it off the boards to center, and a bouncing puck goes right to Marner. Oh, and he had it knocked off his stick at the last second by Makar. He was in alone. And an offside at the Toronto blue line will stop play.
Well, it was a fortunate bounce for the Leafs to the center ice area, and I don't think Makar knew where it was. He turned towards the Colorado bench, and it bounced onto the stick of Marner. Marner just couldn't get it to settle down, and Makar was able to just whack it off his stick at the last moment.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I don't want to say I'm a big deal, but I am a superhero. I love helping people consolidate their debts, and that's what I did for the Smiths. I took their bills and zoom, wha-bam, zap, turn them into one low monthly payment. No, the sound's not necessary, but it's part of the fun.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
The Subaru winter has arrived. The crisp air and negative temperatures mean one thing: camping. Emerge from your icy tent and bask in 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. Enjoy the unmistakable smell of campfire through the glacial wind pummeling your face. Relax by the water, taking in the soothing sounds of thick ice cracking and popping. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.ca/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one. Licensed where work is performed. See website for details.
Joe Bone along with Jim Ralph, Cameron Moore running the operation. Matthew Cardadero is pushing the buttons, and Alex Mandarino is interning or learning the ropes. If he handles anything, we could be off the air in a heartbeat.
Probably get promoted.
Well, he'd be in for a raise. We know that. But we managed to shut up Bowen and Ralph. Here's some extra dough. Puck back at the Toronto goal. Battling with it is Lawton. Into the corner, a hit by Myers, knocks his man down. Coyle getting it around on the far side, lost it, and now here's Scott Lawton coming away at center. The Oakville native with a shot, and maybe his first shot on goal as a Leaf is eye high. And now we get Lawton and Domi into a push and shove session here with Sam Malinsky. And for two teams that haven't seen each other all year, been a little miserable out there, hasn't it?
Maybe because of the new faces, right?
Maybe.
Make sure you stand up for the new guys.
Yeah, I suppose we should qualify that. Some of them have seen each other this year, but this is the first time the Leafs have played the Avalanche. They'll be in Toronto later in the month.
Hey, one thing, John Tortorella, very complimentary about Scott Lott and being able to coach him, and he said, I absolutely love the guy. And John Tortorella doesn't come across as the guy that would say that about a lot of people or a lot of things.
Well, unless he had to or wanted to. He certainly wasn't going to lie to you.
It's very sincere.
Very sincere, very honest. Yep. Well, Craig Berube coached Lawton briefly in Lawton's first year. Now a turnover and a shot. Scores! Tavares! There was going to be a minor penalty. And a turnover right in front of the Avalanche goal, and this game is tied 2-2. Strange goals.
Now, again, and coming out of nowhere, right? Leafs look like they have a chance. They're going to go in the first power play after it was Nylander got taken down in the slot. But the puck went right onto the stick of John Tavares, and from right about the left hash mark, Tavares, great look at the net, and he goes up and over the right shoulder blocker side on Wedgwood to tie this game once again at 2. So the Leafs big boys, Marner and Tavares, both getting on the board. Nylander and Matthews both with assists so far.
So it is a 2-2 tie. Tavares with his 25th of the season. Avalanche get it back down into the Toronto zone. Shots are closing. It's 9-7 Avalanche. Now it's 10-7 Avalanche as a long shot is gloved by Stolars.
We've got a little bit of good news in the out-of-town scoreboard this afternoon. Boston Bruins, who are big-time sellers right at the deadline, go into Tampa and defeat the Lightning, shut them out in Tampa.
Tenth time. No. 11, 12, 13th time that John Tavares has hit the 25-goal mark in his career. Puck down in the Toronto zone. Pushed back along the boards. Blocked partially there by Marner, and it'll carry him all the way down into Avalanche territory. 6:20 to play in the first period, and we are deadlocked at 2 apiece. At Ball Arena is where the boys are playing tonight. Long lead pass up on the right wing boards. Brought in over the line by Parker Kelly. He had it stripped away. Leafs trying to work it out. Pontus Holmberg does so, but doesn't get it much further than the red line. And the Avalanche rip it right back in again with Ryan Lindgren getting it in deep. Now Pontus Holmberg ahead for Nylander. Nylander picks up a loose puck through neutral ice. Breaking in the pass on the wing for Riley, who had jumped into the rush, but it was out of his reach. Oh, but Willie right there in the middle of the rink. That might have been the spot to shoot. Avalanche get it out at center. Kiviranta got it across the line, but had it taken away by Benoit. Benoit skates to center. One of the players lost their stick. The Leafs get it in with a shot off the wing by Lorenz, but it is swallowed up by Blackwood. And there'll be a face-off coming in the Colorado zone. But a seeing eye shot by Tavares goes over the shoulder and blocking glove of Mackenzie Blackwood to tie this game at 2s. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The best golfers in the world are returning to the Stadium Course for the Players' Championship. And you can hear all the action on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio.
Racing towards the flag. This is a good-looking shot. He made it! Rory McIlroy!
All next week, we have coverage from TPC Sawgrass with analysis and player interviews and play-by-play coverage starting Thursday the 13th at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yes! The Eagle lands from the bunker! Scheffler!
Hear the Players' Championship, Channel 92, and on the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito. You have to be cognizant of the chemistry when you go out and make a potential trade, don't you?
We enjoy a little bit of a benefit now where the room is so strong that they can absorb a lot. We just want seamless guys who come in. Your leaders are Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bobrovsky. That part, it takes care of itself.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal Arsenal goal.
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe, Kane, Salah to score.
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history.
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in, put it between his legs. Shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Willie Nylander has been given the only assist on the Tavares goal that ties the game at 2s, and it came at 12:51 of the first period. So Marner and Tavares for Toronto, and Nikushkin has scored both goals for the Avalanche on the loose puck. Comes in front and a shot went off a leg. Still free, and a shot by Camp was blocked by a crowd in front of the net. Avalanche turning the puck over in their own zone. Batted into the corner by Benoit, and he takes his man in heavily as Kiviranta was sent in there, and the pass in front is intercepted, and Robertson skating away at center but can't get it in over the line under control as it rolls to the side of the net. Lorenz into the forecheck, but can't come away with it. Launched to center ice now by the Avalanche. Both teams are changing. 4:50 to play in the period. McCabe got it ahead. Played in over the line by Scott Lawton. Body to the boards, Bobby McMahon. Domi in pursuit. The puck into the far corner. Domi and McMahon working for it. It comes free. Almost pocket pick there for Domi as he had Parker Kelly stick lifted but couldn't come away with the puck, or he was in behind the defense. Leafs poke it free, and now Domi skates out at center, just lifting it into the zone. He'll pressure the defense to get it around back of the net. Swung around the boards. It's going to come all the way to center ice and brought in over the line by Jonathan Drouin. Into the slot area and trying to get a backhand was Nikushkin, but it was blocked, and then it comes in front of the net, and the Leafs are able to turn it away, and Marner sends an alley-oop in over the line that's gone wide, but no icing. Good hustle in there as it's centered in front of... Shot scores! Marner! Set up in front of the net, and the Maple Leafs take the first lead of the game. Mitch Marner with his second goal, and another turnover in the Avalanche zone spells a problem, and Marner now with his 21st.
I wonder if Cale Makar thought this was going to be icing. It was launched by Marner out of the Leaf zone, and down hits the backboards to the right of Mackenzie Blackwood, and then Matthews just steals it. It was
McMahon. Bobby McMahon behind the net got the puck and got it out in front. I thought it was Matthews as well.
Boy, but McCarr did it not look like he pulled up on it.
Yeah, I think he thought it was going to be icing. I agree. Puck down in the Toronto zone. McKinnon trying to play it back to the point. Has it blocked. Now to the point. Taves with a shot. One-timer off the wing by Necas. And that was stopped by Stolars. What a wild first period. Leafs have fallen behind twice and now have a one-goal lead. McMahon and Matthews getting the assist, but it was Bobby McMahon behind the net that sent the pass out to Marner, who snaps home goal number 21.
Well, 74, not 34, but he sure looked like Matthews.
It did. I agree. I had to look twice. I thought it was Matthews as well. Volleyball to the line and in now by Kelly. He was bowled over on a hit by Benoit. Leafs break back out at center with Pontus Holmberg to Nylander. Nylander stops up, backhands into the corner for Holmberg. He stops, looks, trying to cycle along the boards, had the puck knocked off his stick. And Parker Kelly will get it out at center. 2:30 to play in the period. A drop pass and a shot blockered away. And the rebound wasn't handled by Stolars. And the Leafs get fortunate to get it out. Puck along the boards on the near wing, trying to play it in around back of the net it goes. And it'll come to the blue line, backhanded back in along the boards. And the Avalanche still with it. Avalanche playing it back on the near side. Malinsky dropping it off now for Taves. Taves back to Malinsky into the slot. One-timer from McKinnon was stopped. The rebound cleared, and Tavares just needs to get rid of it, and he has.
Well, the Leafs have been very passive in their own end, haven't they? When it looks like that they're killing the penalty 5-on-5, everybody drops back and a lot of gaps for the Colorado defense to make plays.
Avalanche get it down. Netcash walking around back of the net. Got it back into the slot area for Taves. Onto the right wing side. A shot deflected off Matthews' stick. Comes back to Netcash. Over on the right wing side, McCarr trying to keep it alive. Had it blocked. They're able to keep it in. Here's the Avalanche with a backhand. Good play made by McCabe to get his stick in the way of the passing lane and just gets it out into neutral ice with 1:20 to go in the period. Here's McKinnon, and offside is called by the linesman. And it will be brought back into the center ice area.
Well, Matthews does pick up the second assist on the second Marner goal. So Mitch Marner has now scored 3 of the last 4 for the Leafs. But if you not found the Leafs in their own end, and I thought at times against Vegas, especially in the second period, very passive, not aggressive, and you give Colorado this much time and space in your end, you're going to be in for a long night. And fortunately for the Leafs, they're hanging on to the 3-2 lead here late in the first.
Puck in boards in the Toronto zone near the half wall. Robertson got it freed up back of the net. Too far for Benoit. He'll get to it to poke it and just does get it out at center. Robertson couldn't come away with it. 55 seconds left in the period. Shot right back down into the Toronto end. Stolarz played it around the boards, and he fanned on it, and they were able to get it out in front, but he got there in time. Shot from the point. That deflects off a leg into the near corner. Camp gets it along the boards. Lorenz can't get it further up the wall. He'll try to play it around to the other side. It comes to the point, kept in there, and it goes into the near corner. Benoit unable to kick it free, now does, and it is Myers losing it. Up against the boards with 20 seconds. Leafs still in their own zone. Need to get it out, and it'll be airmailed high to center ice by Robertson. That line was under siege down there. Brought back in. McKinnon is drilled to the boards by Myers. Played around the wall to the far side. McMahon up against the boards. Blocked. It goes back into the corner. Under a second to go. And a centering pass by McKinnon doesn't connect. And so the Leafs will take a lead in the first period. It's the first time they've done that in quite a while. February the 22nd against the Hurricanes. But the good news is, when leading after 1, they are 19-1.
Yet, I don't think this is going to be one of those games where we say after all the scoring was done in the first period. I think.
You know what? And now that you've said it, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, let's hope. Let's hope.
We'll step aside as Jim Taddy is joined by Anthony Stewart. First period intermission. Leafs leading 3-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Follow President Donald Trump's first 100 days in office from every angle on the SiriusXM app. From live breaking news channels to deep diving political podcasts and the latest White House coverage and analysis with the SiriusXM political channels, Patriot, POTUS, and Progress, and Megyn Kelly on Triumph. Just search First 100 Days in the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito. You have to be cognizant of the chemistry when you go out and make a potential trade, don't you?
We enjoy a little bit of a benefit now where the room is so strong that they can absorb a lot. We just want seamless guys who come in. Their leaders are Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bobrovsky. That part, it takes care of itself.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
We welcome Utah's Barrett Hayton. Does the P word come up? Do you look at the standings on a daily basis?
You look at the standings, you obviously know what other teams are doing, but at the same time, we know what we have to do. And we talked about it kind of before the break and using the break to kind of have a springboard to this last stretch, kind of be dialed in and feeling good right from the start and trying to build that momentum.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. 24/7 Hockey Talk.
Pittsburgh is the weirdest situation. It's like the start of the year and you tried to pretend that, we're going to do a retool on the fly. No, you're not. They're terrible, but the attitude, nothing to look here. Keep moving. Nope, Sid wants to play. They're terrible. Like Sidney Crosby's next game that matters is the Olympics. That could be the only time he plays again in a game that matters.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Team Canada's John Cooper. Was the moment the red light went on better than you ever could have imagined?
I don't even think I could have dreamt that one up. From Mario Lemieux all the way to the Jordan Binnington moment to the Connor McDavid moment, all these little moments have built up that all the team gave us special moments you'll never forget. I think our game of hockey is in a much better place because of that event.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on SiriusXM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Salah to score!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history!
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to. He played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Marner to Nyes. Backhand try, drops it back into the slot. Marner scores! The Leafs tie the game on Mitch Marner's shot. Marner sends an alley-oop in over the line that's gone wide, but no icing. Good hustle in there. It's centered in front. Shot scores! Marner set up in front of the net, and the Maple Leafs take the first lead of the game.
3-2 is what it is now for the Leafs over Colorado after 20 minutes of play. TSN after 20 is driven by Subaru. Get out and winter with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Wow, that was high-powered action to say the very least, Stu. The Avs started with all that emotion with their new players, and the Leafs chipped away. And man, that's Four Nations hockey, isn't it?
It was probably one of the fastest periods I've seen the Toronto Maple Leafs play, right? Colorado, they shot out of a cannon, scoring 56 seconds into the game with Nikushkin, scoring his 13th of the year. And they seemed to be a little bit overwhelmed in the next couple shifts before Marner got his 20th of the year with a great pass by Matthew Nyes. Great job on the entry, twisting, turning, making a pass. And, then Nikushkin again, followed by Tavares on the turnover as well. And then just Mitch Marner. So with Mitch Marner, it's very interesting, right? He has such a great, accurate shot, right? It's amazing that he averages less than 3 shots. It just seems that he finds a way to pick that corner every single time. Like he shoots with his head up and just picks that post left, right, center, top shelf. So again, he's on his hat-trick watch right now, but it's been a great period. Very fast, very quick, back and forth. But I don't think it was necessarily by Toronto's design. I think it was the Colorado Avalanche who decided to open it up and try to turn it into a track meet. But Toronto just found a way to sort of weather the storm and have a really good counterpunch.
Well, it doesn't matter who you're supporting in this game. I think you're going to be happy with what happened at the trade deadline on both sides. It's just some phenomenal talent added to both teams, right?
Yeah, you saw Brock Nelson, get his first assist in a Colorado uniform as well. You're seeing Scott Lawton getting involved with the extra
Hello.
I got my lunch on my dinner on my mind here, but extracurricular activities involved with Max Domi getting involved in the scrums, looking like the Bash brothers as well. You saw Carlo, who started off -2. They found a way to climb back into the even category, him and Riley. So, again, there's going to be some nerves these first couple of games, getting just used to the travel, getting used to new gloves, new pants, new sticks, new everything. But through the first 20 minutes here, for me, it's definitely been entertaining. Like, I just have my notes. I'm scribbling. It seems every shift. Just a fast-paced game in the Mile High City.
Well, on the other side, you see what happens when McKinnon has the puck, and what happens defensively, Makar and Marner. Those are just magnificent plays to watch, no matter who you're cheering for.
Yeah, starting with McKinnon, he just finds a way to push the opposition just on their heels with that speed. You have no choice but just to retrieve back to the house, and you're just sort of standing there. Hopefully he runs into you, or he turns the puck over. Just the speed, and he's one of the few guys in the NHL that actually is faster with the puck than without it. Makar as well, just getting across the line. He is a breakout machine. But even for Toronto, I noticed Robertson out there. You saw Domi getting in on a couple rush. So sometimes when they sort of push the pace, it forces you to elevate your speed game. And that's the one thing with Toronto. I think sometimes they're guilty of slowing it down, and you're seeing Marner with the entries and just slow twist and turn. But in a game like this, it just shows they can match that energy and pace. And I'm sure if they have that sort of in their repertoire, they can find ways to, take over games. So it's been a great 20 minutes. I'm sure the coach wants to shore up some things defensively, a little bit of a breakdown on Nichushkin's second goal, a little bit of that hole between the offense and the defense, but a great response by Toronto, where they didn't let it turn into, turning into 3 or 4 like it did against Vegas. They weathered the storm and found a way to take over this game.
So, even though they would only meet in the Stanley Cup final, this had playoff intensity just because, home ice, the Avs get the lead, the Leafs battle back, and the Leafs have shown in different forms all season long a resiliency that we didn't see last year. This is a new version of it, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it starts with Stolarz, right, where that first one goes in, you're like, I don't know. But he made 3 or 4 big saves, right, where he just found a way to get in front of the puck. And, one was a sprawling save his way. And I think when he was performing, at a high level, he just adds a little bit of calming presence to the rest of the group. They're like, okay, you know what? We did let in an early one, but he's coming to play. We need to find a way to elevate our game and keep us into this game. So it's been a great first period, just matching that, but having that counterpunch. How many times have we seen, Tats, when this game turns into a barn burner where it's, are we going to see a Zamboni driver come in? Is it going to be a disaster? They found a way just to sort of get it back to even keel and then eventually take over. So if I'm Berube, I'm happy with the response. You made your mistakes, but the recovery and the response was much more important, and I'm happy with that.
Stu, thanks very much. Appreciate it. And just little things on the way out. The Lawton shot that creates the save and then the face-off that eventually turns into the Tavares goal. Little things like that have added up. So it is 3-2 for the Leafs over Colorado after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They can help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-288-4991. That's 1-800-288-4991. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-288-4991. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-288-4991. Ontario license number 4705786.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.ca/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed where work is performed. See website for details.
Deep breath, piano pickup, hockey drop-off. Ooh, did you remember the Farm Boy cupcakes for afterwards? And dinner.
We got this. Voila delivered our groceries this morning. Cupcakes are in the back seat.
Got 'em.
And I got some ready-made pulled pork and Longo's fresh buns for dinner.
Ooh.
Plus, some compliments hot chocolate. A little reward for surviving tonight.
You're on a roll, honey.
Voila delivers fresh groceries from Sobeys, Farm Boy, and Longo's at the same prices in-store with no hidden fees. Voila, your groceries delivered just like that.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go to town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have. Panthers 3-0 over the Sabres. That's in the third period. End of the first. Flames and Habs are scoreless. Earlier today, Kraken 4-1 over the Flyers. Ottawa 4-3 in overtime over the Rangers. Boston shut out Tampa 4-0. Tonight, Chicago and Nashville starting in seconds. Blues and visiting the Kings. Same 8 o'clock start. It is the Stars at Edmonton at 10 o'clock and also at 10. Islanders on the coast against the San Jose Sharks. In our game, it is 3-2 for the Leafs over the Avs after 20 minutes of play. Oh, yes, guy. The second period is next on Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Around every year, people begin to scramble for information. It's a beast like no other, and VSiN is here to help you navigate the waters of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Sharp Week begins on Sunday, and our team of college hoops experts will guide you through your brackets. Want to know who the wagering sharps are picking? Tune into Sharp Week on VSiN, Sirius XM 158. Sharps! You're gonna need a bigger bet.
NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito. You have to be cognizant of the chemistry when you go out and make a potential trade, don't you?
We enjoy a little bit of a benefit now where the room is so strong that they can absorb a lot. We just want seamless guys who come in. Your leaders are Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bobrovsky. That part, it takes care of itself.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Salah to score!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history!
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Avalanche, and today the National Ice Hockey League started putting out its official Eastern Conference and Western Conference playoff race tabloid sheet, which I always find quite interesting. And so I went through it, and strength of schedule, which I always laugh when people decide to put this out. And it is, so I marked down number of teams that they will play who are not currently in the postseason. The Tampa Bay Lightning will play 12, including Boston today, who beat them 4-0. The Leafs will play 9, and the Florida Panthers, who are playing the Buffalo Sabres tonight, are playing 10 teams that are currently not in the postseason. But it never fails to amaze me that teams that are going nowhere, that have nothing to play for, but just for the joy of playing, end up upsetting teams that are squeezing the stick too tight or in a desperate race to finish in a certain spot in the standings who are in the postseason.
Yeah, and I can think of 2 examples. A couple of years ago, Pittsburgh Penguins just have to beat the Chicago Blackhawks on home ice, and they're in the playoffs.
And where were the Blackhawks in the standings, Mr. Ralph?
Oh, well out of it. And that allowed the Florida Panthers to get in, and they go to the Stanley Cup Finals. I also remember the year after New Jersey won their first cup. This would have been 96. All they had to do to make the playoffs the next year, I shouldn't say all, they struggled through most of the season, just had to beat the expansion Ottawa Senators at home. Final game and lost and missed the playoffs after winning the cup. And that was, I believe, Tom Chorsky, the former Ottawa Senators, had a couple of goals in that game. So you can talk about strength of schedule. Maybe for teams that are already in, it's not as nerve-wracking. But for teams trying to get in down the stretch, you do not take a lot of confidence out of the fact you're playing against teams that are out of it.
Underway, second period, Leafs to the right, and the Avalanche to the left as a pass in front of the net is gobbled up by the Avalanche and played out at center. They'll shoot it into the Toronto zone, and around the boards near side is Neckash trying to get it back along. It'll come up on the wing, and the Leafs break it out at center. Matthews stumbled, and now Marner sends it down into the corner, and Matthew Nye's in pursuit, and he can't come up with it, and Matthews will steal it back at center ice and play to the right wing side. Nye's in on that side, tries to come to the middle of the ice to get a forehand away, but it was knocked off his stick. Now he has it in his skates, but didn't realize it, and it is poked out at center ice, and the Leafs are going to shoot it right back in again. Avalanche regrouping in their own zone. Up on the right side for Nichushkin. He has both of the Avalanche goals. Left-handed shooting winger. As it's played out into the center ice area for him, he's kicked it in over the line. The Leafs get it back out at center, and Nylander circling down along the boards now at his own blue line, gets it back to the defense. Leafs are changing, and Riley is down in his own end, getting it up on the wing, and Brandon Carlo will play it in over the line and into the zone, and it's going to turn into an icing. Some of the things that you're talking about now, when Tanev gets back, obviously Tanev and McCabe are going to be a defense tandem. Brandon Carlo, you would think, is going to be the number 2 guy because he's on the right-hand side. He's a right-handed shot. And they're always saying, got to find someone to play with Morgan Riley, to help Morgan Riley. And I'm saying to you that I think the battle is going to be, would Oliver Ekman-Larsson be better to be playing with Brandon Carlo as the number 2? And is Morgan Riley going to be shunted down to maybe the 3rd pair with Benoit?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting problem for Craig Berube.
Yeah, that's going to be like the situation, the tryout for this time between now and the postseason, as Tavares gets the puck out at center. Pontus Holmberg will lay it into the far corner and get down into the forecheck. Got a hit in on Lindgren. The puck comes free and played to the line and out. And the Leafs have it there as they regroup it with Benoit. Playing it up on the boards and slashed into the zone by Toronto against the wall on the near side. McMahon couldn't come up with it. A hit there along the boards then by Scott Lawton, and it's cleared back down into Toronto territory. Myers playing it around the boards, but it's cut off there, and a hit by Myers trips up his man. There's going to be a penalty here to Toronto. In along on the far side, Girard tried to get it back. Domi got a piece of it, and now as he touches it again, here's the whistle, and the first power play opportunity of the game is going to go to the Avalanche. The Leafs were going to get a power play, but then the turnover, and Tavares ended up scoring.
Boy, this Colorado power play has been red hot. Last 4 games, they're 8 for 11.
Myers lost his footing and then tripped up his man. The penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
So 2:32 the time of the penalty, and buckle up. You got McCarr and McKinnon out.
Benoit and McCabe, the first defense pairing over the boards, and the draw won by Colorado. Avalanche work it down into the slot, but it's intercepted by McCabe, and he quickly backhands it out and down the ice. McCarr going back. Cale Makar dropping it off. Brought forward by Drouin. He drops it again, and now McKinnon with speed in across the line. Dropping it back again. Paves to the near side. Necas works into the corner, drops it off, trying to saucer it back. It goes to Makar. Makar looking for McKinnon, goes back in on the right wing boards for Drouin. Drouin back to Makar. Makar over on the far side. McKinnon trying to work into the slot area. Stolen by the Leafs and backhanded by Toronto out and down the ice. I think that was Scott Lawton who got his stick on it and sent it the rest of the way. Drouin coming through center. Drops it back. Here's McKinnon in across the line. The drop pass comes back into the slot. Back to McKinnon coming out of the corner. Took a shot, and that deflected wide. The rebound into the near boards. McKinnon's onto it again. McKinnon sending it around the wall to the far side for Necas. Necas works into the corner. Stops. Back to the point to Makar. Back to Necas. Necas with a pass down low. McKinnon gives it back to him. Necas works into the circle. Doesn't shoot it. Still stick handling with it. Pass went off a stick to the near boards, but Avalanche are onto it again. Makar at the point. Dropping it back for Drouin. Over on the far side once more. Looking down low. McKinnon getting it into the slot. Now to Drouin's shot. Blockered away. The puck was in behind the Leaf goaltender. And it's scooped into the corner there by Carlo. Makar. 15 seconds left. Another shot. That deflects high. They thought that it went into the screen, but no call. The puck comes along the boards. Battling for it now is Ekman Larsson. He lost it, and another save made by Anthony Stolarz. And the Leafs are upset, thinking that that puck deflected into the screen, and Ekman Larsson is over giving it. Just giving it. Well, maybe not giving it, but having a discussion with the official.
And it turned out to work out for the Leafs because they killed off a few more seconds in the power play. But Jonathan Drouin with the last chance, walking in alone on Stolarz. Before that, Stolarz makes the save.
And Ekman Larsson's upset that just at the end when Drouin stopped it, he was tripped.
Yeah, trying to get back.
3 seconds in the power play. Won by Toronto and hammered off the boards down the ice just as Myers steps out of the box. So the Leafs kill off the first power play of the game and still lead 3-2. Shot into the Toronto zone. Down the boards, trying to work free is Brock Nelson. He's had a pretty good impact here as a rolling puck in on goal is scooped up by Stolarz. He hit the goal post once, drew an assist on one of the goals, so Brock Nelson is starting to fit in rather nicely.
The other thing again with Arturi Lehkonen that's got, Nichushkin, Valery Nichushkin, that has both goals. He's only played now, this is his 26th game of the season. So they've been able to get him back, and this is only his 5th game back since his latest stint on IR where he missed 21 games. So that's almost works out like a trade, right?
Yep.
Somebody healthy back in the lineup.
Bouncing puck in the Toronto zone, pushed to the line but not out. Stolen by Brock Nelson. He can't get a shot away. Nelson forces it around the boards and into the corner. Centering pass goes around to the near side. Taves back to the point. Fed over on the near side on the far side by the Avalanche. It comes back to the point. Girard over on the right wing side. A centering feed, and it bounced over Nelson's sticker. He had a great scoring chance. Fed to the far side looking for Nelson again, and it bounces away from him.
Another penalty.
And another penalty. A hook is coming, and I think it's against the Leafs.
And they just have not looked solid in their own end. Like we said, it's almost this collapsed defense where everybody collapses back, and Nylander is the Leaf that's going to go. But this is just the Leafs' inability to get the puck out. And Yeah, it's right after the puck was turned over at the line when Brock Nelson picked it up. Nylander got caught flat-footed and reaching.
Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say Leafs barely survived the last power play, and they're going to have to do it all over again.
Penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks. Face off in the Toronto zone, won by McKinnon. McCarr back to the blue line to McKinnon. A cross-ice pass broken up by the Leafs, but not cleared. McKinnon along the boards gets it back to the blue line. Over on the far side, looking for Drouin down low. It goes back to McCarr. McCarr to McKinnon. McKinnon to the right wing side. And Netcash couldn't get it, but McCarr has it at the blue line. Chased after. It goes into the slot area. Back to McKinnon. McKinnon to McCarr. McCarr with a shot. Blockered away by Stolarz. Their camera coverage is from behind the Leaf goal. It's a little tough seeing numbers at times. Shot blocked. Good save made by Jake McCabe. And it is coolly played off the boards and down the ice by the Leaf penalty killers.
Boy, and Austin Matthews had to win a one-on-one stick battle to get to that rebound and get it down the ice.
McKinnon gets a drop pass with 1:08 on the power play. Hits the line and in on the left wing. Puck goes free. Marner couldn't get to it, then did, and now easily plays it off the boards and out and down the ice. Leafs in their last 5 games have allowed 4 goals on 16 times short in the penalty killing. Brought on by Netcash and across the line, trying to get through the defense, but had to be forced to the boards. Back to the blue line to McKinnon. Over on the left wing side, drop pass and a bullet by Devin Taves went wide of the goal, and the Leafs poke it out at center ice, and David Camp hoping for some assistance, but they were going to the bench, and Camp really didn't have an outlet as Nyes arrived on the scene late. He was one-on-one with one of the defenders, but couldn't find a guy to pass the puck to. Now the Leafs strewing across the blue line, break up the rush, and Taves will work it up on the right wing side. Good play there to take Nelson to the boards. McKinnon to Taves, left wing side, and a shot wired wide of the goal. Rebound back to the blue line. Nelson keeping it alive, bouncing puck stolen, brought out by Nyes, one-on-one against Devin Taves. Nyes in over the line, trying to protect the puck and hold on to it. Got it into the slot area, working back to the blue line. It goes to Riley. Riley to the far side. Lawton trying to get to as the penalty has expired, and the Leafs are 2 for 2 on the penalty kill against, as you mentioned, Ralphie, one of the hottest teams with the power play going currently in the NHL. Riley will send it in over the line. Devin Taves is there. 12 minutes to play in the second period, and it is 3-2 with all of the scoring done in the first period.
Fingers crossed.
What do you know about this sport anyway?
I knew that there were very few times I played, all the scoring was done in the first period.
Don't you love it when we're wrong? Brought in over the line and shot down into the corner and down behind the Leaf goal. Into the skates of Benoit, and he got bowled over, and a centering pass went off the side of the goal. Camp works the boards along the near side, and it is pushed to an open wing, and Benoit will get there, and he gets hit in almost into the Avalanche bench, and that's drawn a big howl from the crowd.
I don't know what the stoppage of play was for. Do you?
No. You mean it stopped?
By Jake McCabe with a big block on Nichushkin, who's looking for his third.
Parker Kelly with the hit. And Benoit, half of them ended up in the bench, but the bigger half stayed on the ice. It is 3-2 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I don't want to say I'm a big deal, but I am a superhero. I love helping people consolidate their debts, and that's what I did for the Smiths. I took their bills and zoom, wha-bam, zap, turn them into one low monthly payment. No, the sound's not necessary, but it's part of the fun.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Saturdays, it's hockey like you've never seen before. Welcome to the NHL Hockeyverse. It's the place where real data of NHL action is transformed, literally, into animations. Combining NHL Edge puck and player tracking data with animations to show hockey like never before.
Let's go inside the helmet.
That's right. This is no video game. The NHL Hockeyverse Matchup of the Week. Oilers vs. Capitals. Watch now on Sportsnet Plus.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed the musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.ca/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed where work is performed. See website for details.
This is International Women's Day, and I want to send out a special hello and thank you to the women in my life, Erin and Laura, my daughters by law, who do such a wonderful job with my grandkids. I want to say thank you to them. Kind of interesting, Women's Day, and then lots of people get a month. We only got 12 months, and with all of the causes that seem to be going on, shouldn't everybody just get a day? Then we could get 365 causes going. Long shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. And it comes back to the point, kept in there by Lindgren. He walks to the middle, a shot blocked away. Oh, and the Leafs couldn't get a hold of the puck, or Robertson would have been able to send Nylander away on a breakaway. The puck is around back of the goal. Fed into the far corner, and McCabe unable to get there, but Robertson intercepts a pass. Robertson to center and over the line. Drops it back for Tavares. Tavares into the corner. Tavares grabbed onto and drilled into the corner by Manson. That was definitely a hold. Now Marner with a spinning move. Oh, and he centered it, and Tavares couldn't get his stick on it. It comes back out into the center ice area. Was I wrong?
Yeah, you think that might have been an easy one for a makeup call, wouldn't you?
I thought so. Got into the Avalanche zone. Pushed ahead by Josh Manson out at center. Grabbed off by the Leafs, and Nyes will regroup it back with the defense tandem. And Riley gets it ahead off Matthews' skate. He circles back, being forced by Neckash. He gets it ahead to Morgan Riley. Riley with a diagonal shoot in, allowing Nyes to the puck. Nyes along the boards, in along the wall, and couldn't get it, and it is lifted high to center ice. Bouncing disc that McCabe had difficulties with. Good touch pass there by Ekman Larson to get it ahead. Nyes dropping for Matthews. Matthews to Marner. Marner holds, looks for a man in front. Now backhands it around back of the net. Nyes let it go. Matthews couldn't bring it out on his backhand. Gets a chance on the near boards. Kept in by McCabe along the wall. And McCabe does a nice job of battling to get Nyes the puck. Now to Matthews. Got a chance to go to the corner with it. Played it around back of the net. Domi centers. And it was out of the reach of Nyes. And now here are the Avalanche coming to center. McKinnon in across the line. Dropped it back for Netcash. And a good save made by Stolars. And he holds on. Anthony Stolars giving up 2 early in the period by comparison at the 6:08 mark, but he's been rock solid since that point.
Yeah, 2 goals on the first 4 shots, but especially on the penalty kill as both teams continue to generate scoring chances off the rush.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hers is a story of struggle and success.
I have lived through so many things that I didn't even think I was going to live through or make it through. I didn't think I was going to even succeed as an artist at some point.
Now, the queen of hip-hop soul, Mary J. Blige, shines with her own limited engagement channel.
And this is strictly for the fans.
Hear her music, influences, and more. Mary J. Blige Radio. Now throughout the month, at home with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices. And starting on March 18th on Channel 79.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
We welcome Utah's Barrett Hayton. Does the P word come up? Do you look at the standings on a daily basis?
You look at the standings, you obviously know what other teams are doing, but at the same time, we know what we have to do. And we talked about it kind of before the break and using the break to kind of have a springboard to this last stretch, kind of be dialed in and feeling good right from the start and trying to build that momentum.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. 24/7 Hockey Talk.
Pittsburgh is the weirdest situation. It's like the start of the year and you tried to pretend that, we're going to do a retool on the fly. No, you're not. They're terrible, but the attitude, nothing to look here. Keep moving. Nope, Sid wants to play. They're terrible. Like Sidney Crosby's next game that matters is the Olympics. That could be the only time he plays again in a game that matters.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Leafs lead the game by a score of 3-2.
Brendan Carlo, by the way, second in ice time already for the Leafs, 11-19. Just behind Jake McCabe.
Here the Avalanche working around back of the net. Paddle down save made by Stolars allows McMahon to get the puck out at center. He can't get to it though, and the Avalanche push it right back up the boards and out. Manson getting it down into the Leaf end. Myers rings the boards to the far side. Domi launching it but can't get it past the defenseman. Puck along the wall, pushed into the corner. Played by Makar around into the near boards. Now getting it up on the wing was Scott Laughton, but not out. Back at the point, kept alive by Nichushkin. Nichushkin has it taken away by Laughton, and McMahon will backhand it high to center ice. Domi going to the bench as the Leafs are in the midst of a change. So are the Avalanche, so circling back is Malinsky. Sam Malinsky gets it ahead, but Myers is there. His pass went off the boards, but didn't clear. Now Myers back of the goal. Played it around on the near side. Pontus Holmberg reverses it to the other side. Myers getting it up the boards and out, but now brought right back in again by the Avalanche, and a wrist shot deflects off a stick wide. Lorenz can't get it initially, but now has it and is able to get it out, but not much further.
And we got
a whistle.
Well,
okay, I'm disbelieving, but not any more than Jack Drury. I think he's just got a penalty.
No, we saw was close up of Drury pointing at himself and saying, me. And I mean, if this is on the play by Steven Lorenz, I think this is a slight. I mean, this is a weak one. He said it was much more obvious calling John Tavares about 2 minutes earlier.
So the power play brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Enjoy winter the fullest with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Will you be staying up an hour later tonight? Welcome in daylight savings time?
Avalanche penalty.
Sure. Okay. And the Avalanche send it out and down the ice.
I think I went to bed an hour earlier.
Just in preparation? Okay.
Last week, yeah.
Marner dropping the puck back. Matthews comes out of his own zone to the line and in. Matthews splits the defense and got a backhand away. And then a rebound in front. And it was Blackwood clearing it away. Nylander back to the blue line. Gets a return pass from Marner. Down low, Matthews trying to steady her up front. They score! Tavares set up brilliantly by Austin Matthews. And Johnny Torado has a pair, and the Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
Austin Matthews in the position to the left, right at the goal line. To the left of the Colorado goaltender. He gets the pass and then a little bunt back out to the slot onto the stick of John Tavares. And Tavares, I mean, this is just a split second on his stick. And he rifles it blocker side over the right shoulder of the Colorado goaltender, Mackenzie Blackwood. And the Leafs, they have the 2-goal lead here. Both Tavares now and Marner with 2-goal games.
4 goals on 11 shots for the Maple Leafs. And Jared Bednar kind of scratching his head over at the Avalanche bench. And over the line, Brandon Carlo sends it high to center ice. And the Avalanche will regroup now at their own blue line.
Well, Matthews and Nylander the assists on the Tavares goal.
Thank you. Played along the boards to the line, but not out. Makar to the left wing side, trying to work in as Taves. Taves with it, now back to Makar. Makar swings in with a shot that was high and wide of the net. Rebound into the near corner. Taves gets it back to the point. Taves with it again to the one-timer on the far side. That deflected high and over top of the goal. The puck comes free. Avalanche with it again and good pressure. Taves dishing it off to McKinnon. McKinnon works into the slot area. McKinnon still with it. Tried to play it in front and it deflected wide to the far boards. Makar keeping it in. Makar to the near boards. Lehkonen tries to work along the wall. The Leafs get to it but can't get it out. And now off a skate. It is Lorenz getting it to center and Morgan Riley on the left wing side for Pontus Holmberg. And instead of making a pass to Riley, who was driving the net, his wrist shot was an easy save into the chest of Blackwood.
I think maybe the right play, though, Joe, because they're at the end of a shift, get it down, go for the whistle, maybe instead of making the play with the defenseman getting caught. By the way, the backup goaltender, I think we've already mentioned tonight, Colorado made 2 goaltending changes, trades, to bring in Scott Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood. Scott Wedgwood was the goaltender a couple of years ago when Austin Matthews passed Rick Vive for most goals in a season in Dallas.
Centering pass in front, looking for Lawton, was Domi, and it was deflected just wide. Back come the Avalanche in over the line with Drouin. Plays it back to the blue line. It's kept in along the boards in the far corner. Dropped off, Drouin gets it back to the point over on the near side now for Manson, and a shot. And swallowing that up is Stolarz to stop play. The Leafs lead it by a score of 4-2. Nylander draws the additional assist. Austin Matthews has a 3-point night. All of them have been helpers. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Ah, at last, the Subaru winter is here. It's the perfect weather for the beach. Feel the sun's rays on the small amount of skin peeking out of your ski mask. Put on your beach puffer and hear the sound of the waves crashing over the chatter of your teeth. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They could help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-656-7129. That's 1-800-656-7129. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-656-7129. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-656-7129. Ontario license number 4705786.
Leafs 4, the Avalanche 2. John Tavares with a pair. Mitch Marner with a pair. Austin Matthews with 3 assists.
By the way, for Matthews now, that extends a point streak to 12 games. 3 goals, 15 assists in those 12 games for Matthews.
And everybody's upset that it's not 15-3.
Well, I don't think you'd be opposed to that.
No. Here's the Avalanche getting it in front of the net, and it's knocked to the far boards. McKinnon getting it back to the point. McKinnon gets it again, had his pocket picked, and it is brought out at center ice by Marner with a bank pass looking for Nyes, but it didn't reach him. And the Avalanche get it back out at center. Now the Leafs punch it back in over the line, and Lindgren is back after it.
Marner's point streak is at 6. He's just dominated this game, hasn't he?
Yep. Brought on at center ice and in over the line. Dropped off by Josh Manson. He rings the boards with it. Marner kicking it back, but it'll be gobbled up by Nichushkin. Nichushkin gets it around the boards, but it's going to come all the way out at center and down into the Avalanche end. 4:54 left to go, second period. The Leafs lead 4-2. Pass in front of the goal. What a save. No, it goes in. Kiviranta, I believe, coming off the right side. I thought Stolarz had stopped it, but it trickles into the goal. And Joel Kiviranta is going to make it 4-3. Guess I shouldn't have mentioned about the 3-2 thing.
Yeah, not with half or 2 periods left. Now this looks like Kiviranta actually fans on his one-timer attempt. Left-handed shot on the right wing side, and it just does. The changeup slides between the pads of Stolarz, who's moving from his right to his left. I think if he gets something on that,
Stolarz is there.
Yeah, he makes the save, but because he sort of fanned on it, floated down, and it went 5-hole. Now, is this anything to do with the Leafs challenge?
Nope.
Nope.
Puck is dropped. Leafs control the face-off, and the lead is back to 1. In over the line, Robertson unable to reach it. Nylander against the boards, couldn't come up with it. And it's over on the near side, and the Avalanche will get it up the boards out at center and down into the Leaf end, but no one touches it, and so it is going to be an icing call. And coming back, Colton and Malinsky get the assists. The goal scored at 15-11.
You got any concerns about the Leafs defensively of late? Went back to the 5 goals they gave up in Pittsburgh. Another 5. Actually, we're down 5-0 early in the second period against Vegas. And Colorado's hit the 3-goal mark. I mean, pretty good competition the last couple of games. But I think what you loved about the Leafs early in the season, 1 goal against, 2 goal against. And we were talking about the Craig Berube system of buckling down, but of late, the goals have been going in a little more frequently.
Draw one by the Avalanche, launched into the Toronto zone. Riley back of the net, scoops it around the boards, and it'll clear. And Robertson's in a foot race, gets in over the line, stops it up, gets a little bit of room, banks it in around back of the net. Tavares unable to reach it. Riley was in there, but he very wisely decided he'd better get back. And with 4:10 to play in the period, the Avalanche have it in their own zone. Long lead pass ahead in over the line. Kiviranta gets a shot towards the net. It comes off the end boards. And Stolarz is there to put the glove on it. And he'll stop play with a face-off coming in the Toronto zone.
I think you could make a pretty good argument that the Colorado Avalanche have the best forward and best defenseman in the game.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.
But what about this for Cale Makar? Makes $9 million a year until 2027.
Where's that rank him?
Number 36 in the National Hockey League in salary.
The guys ahead of him must be laughing. A shot from the point, deflects wide. It comes to the side of the goal, and the Leafs are able to punch it up on the wall, but not get it out. Back into the corner it goes. O'Connor in against the boards. The Leafs come away with it. The Avalanche have had the zone time, but the Leafs have been the quick strike offense, as an icing is called, here against Toronto with 3:38 to go in the period.
Yep, 4 goals on 12 shots for the Leafs in this game. By the way, 2 of the players that are ahead of Cale Makar in earnings for a season, 2 highest paid players in the league, Austin Matthews and Nathan McKinnon. Matthews at 13.25, McKinnon at 12.6 million per season.
Leafs lose the draw. Point shot off the wing, knocked away, blockered by Stolarz, and now launched high to the Colorado blue line. Avalanche regrouping it. Makar gets it ahead. Kevin Taves in over the line, trying to drop it back for McKinnon. He sends it around the boards far side. Nyes couldn't get it as it comes back to the point. Kept alive there and into the slot area for Taves. Off a stick and pushed out at center, and Makar has to go back to his own zone. Being hounded here by Marner. Makar gets away from him, got in across the line. Left wing side, good hit by Myers to stand his man up. Now the puck is into the far corner. Back to the point it comes. Pass across, and unable to get a shot away was Nekash. When he did, it's blockered there nicely by Taves. Leafs get it off the boards and out at center ice with 2:44 to go in the period. Avalanche with it again. Malinsky shoots it right back into the Toronto zone. The Leafs have had a penchant of winning games when they've been outshot, which says a lot about their goaltending, but it's been the way they've played. Now the Avalanche with it again, back to the point. Over on the near side for Malinsky. He walks it back, Avalanche cycling the puck around. It comes back to Malinsky at the right point. Down low into the left wing corner. In for Netcash. Centering pass. That's blocked. The rebound is going to be swallowed up by Stolars.
Boy, Stolars again bails the Leafs out. 29 seconds of offensive zone time by Colorado. As I was saying earlier, and partially maybe the respect you have for the Colorado offense, but the Leafs have just collapsed back in front of their goaltender, and Colorado, it looks like a power play. Stolars once again coming up with a huge stop. It's one of those games where you look and say, okay, it's like the Boston game that he won 5-4 in overtime. Was still one of the best players on the ice and gave up 4 goals.
Avalanche win the draw. Leafs being outshot 12-4 in the period, but have a 4-3 lead. Played high to center ice. Domi racing in on the right wing, poked it in front of the goal, scooped aside by Blackwood. In against the boards. Lawton tried to keep it in. It comes to the blue line. Domi diving to knife it back into the zone. And now the Leafs have to go back into their own end to come away with it. A backhand pass at center for Domi. He'll push it ahead and in over the line. McMahon got it freed up for Lawton. Lawton backhands it around back of the net. McMahon returns the favor on a hit. Now Riley pinches to keep it in for Nylander. Right wing side. Shot by Tavares went high and wide. Minute 20 to go in the period. The Leafs with some zone time as it comes back out at center. Riley off his stick and down into Colorado territory. Robertson into the forecheck. Can't come away with it. Manson will push it out at center for the Avalanche. The Leafs have some difficulties with it. Brandon Carlo trying to get it out. And now Riley will help him out to find Tavares. Tavares to center with a pass that's intercepted. Quickly brought back by Makar. Makar into the slot area for Netcash. Netcash in on goal. And he shot it wide of the net. Nylander working down the right wing boards. Gets it out at center. And now here's Makar with it again. To the blue line. Leafs will bank it out at center and down into the zone. But it didn't touch a stick. And with 37 seconds left, an icing call coming here against the Leafs. Second period brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian Ultra, Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it.
That last opportunity because John Tavares tries to go to the right wing from the middle of the ice to Nick Robertson at the Colorado blue line. But Cale Makar thinks the game much like Mitch Marner. He's a step ahead. Jumps up, intercepts the pass, and back go the Avalanche the other way for another chance off the rush.
Draw one by Tavares. Riley circles the goal, banks it to the blue line and out. And Makar has it knocked off his stick deeper into Avalanche territory. 26 seconds left in the period. Avalanche in across the line into the slot. Nichushkin couldn't get a shot away. Nelson gets it back to the point. Makar plays it back around the boards behind the net for McKinnon. McKinnon taken to the boards. Nyes comes away with the loose puck and gets it ahead off the stick of Marner. It'll roll down on goaltender Blackwood. And with 4.7 seconds left, there's a face-off coming in the offensive zone. And hopefully Nyes is coming into the face-off area because, as we know, he is dynamite in the last second of a period.
How about this? Florida is shutting out the Buffalo Sabres 4-0. That's back-to-back shutouts for Florida. I think they've only given up 1 goal in their last 4 games. So they have been winning games a little differently than the Leafs of late.
Matthews scrums the draw. Nylander couldn't get to it. Marner can't keep it in, and time will run out. So the teams trade goals in the second period. And the 1-goal lead built in the first by the Maple Leafs withstands the second period, and it's 4-3 Toronto.
Yeah, you like the power play. You like the fact that Austin Matthews, John Tavares, and Mitch Marner have been great offensively. But still to me, a little scary in their own end, where they're collapsing back, and you give Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon and the likes that much time and space in your own end. You might be playing with fire, so we'll see if the Leafs can be maybe a little more aggressive in the third.
Outshot 12-5 in the second period and 26-13 on the night. It's the Leafs with a 4-3 lead after 40 minutes of play. Jim Taddy, Anthony Stewart coming your way. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The Fantasy Footballers are on Sirius XM.
It's about time you won your league, and we're here to help.
Becoming a fantasy football champion is a year-long process, and the biggest fantasy football podcast has the insight you need. Listen to the Fantasy Footballers podcast right now on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy football is fun. Winning is even more fun, and our listeners do both.
And catch the Fantasy Footballers Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Team Canada's John Cooper. Was the moment the red light went on better than you ever could have imagined?
I don't even think I could have dreamt that one up. From Mario.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Leafs game. Now that we've got your attention, Tom has something to say.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell for some notifications for all the streams that we have on TSI.
You know it. If it's a Toronto sports game, we're live. The Maple Leafs, the Raptors, the Argos, TFC, Blue Jays all summer long. Thank you so much for becoming an insider and hitting that subscribe button. Now let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go!
Barrett Hayton, does the P word come up? Do you look at the standings on a daily basis?
You look at the standings, you obviously know what other teams are doing, but at the same time, we know what we have to do. And we talked about it kind of before the break and using the break to kind of have a springboard to this last stretch, kind of be dialed in and feeling good right from the start and trying to build that momentum.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
Pittsburgh is the weirdest situation. It's like the start of the year and you tried to pretend that, we're going to do a retool on the fly. No, you're not. They're terrible, but the attitude, nothing to look here. Keep moving. Nope, Sid wants to play. They're terrible. Like Sidney Crosby's next game that matters is the Olympics. That could be the only time he plays again in a game that matters.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to if he played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Salah to score!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history!
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Canadian Leafs hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Nylander back to the blue line, gets a return pass from Marner. Down low, Matthews trying to steady her up front. They score! Tavares set up brilliantly by Austin Matthews. And Johnny Torado has a pair, and the Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
It was 4-2. Now it's 4-3 for the Leafs over the Avs after 40 minutes of play. TSN After 40 brought to you by 241 Pizza. Give yourself a high five. Buy any large traditional pizza. Get up to 3 media one-topping pizzas for $5 each. 241pizza.com. Jim Taddy, Anthony Stewart with you. Stu, I mean, this is a classic playoff-style game. You're always a shot away from it going in the other direction.
Yes, the game slowed down a little bit, I guess, for the Toronto Maple Leafs as they got sort of stuck in their own end for most of that period. 12 minutes, I believe, before they got their first shot on the net, but that just shows what type of team this Colorado Avalanche is. They just really pushed the pace. It didn't help that they did take 2 penalties in the first 6-7 minutes with Myers for tripping and Nylander for hooking, but they found a way to now take over the game, and that's on the power play. And an amazing pass by Austin Matthews finding the seam between the legs of the defender and finding John Tavares, who scored his second of the game. So it's been a great period fundamentally, I guess, for Toronto. Again, they want to stay out of the penalty box, but I think they just have to manage the puck a little bit, in this third period. I'm a little bit weary right now as Nathan McKinnon has, I think, 18 minutes of ice time. He's paced to go over 27 minutes. He only has 1 shot on net so far, so I'm worried if they don't manage the puck and just get pucks, past the blue line and turn it over like they did in the last couple minutes of that second period, I think it could spell trouble. But all in all, through 40 minutes, it's been a solid 2 periods for the Maple Leafs as they go into the third period with the 4-3 lead.
Well, to have the lead after 40 minutes, we talked about this before. Long change, Mile High City, second period can be a disaster for the visiting team, but it wasn't. But they did spend a lot of time in their own zone. So, if I'm in the Colorado dressing room, I'm not very upset about this. I think this is a winnable game. But if I'm in the Leafs dressing room, what am I saying about reversing that and getting the puck out and not spending time in your own zone?
Well, I think the long change, not having that in the third period, I think will definitely help. But I think for them, they're creating their own mistakes, right? So their own problems. So there's mistakes and there's choices, right? John Tavares there trying to make a shovel pass to Robertson breaking into the blue line. That's a choice. I think you just have to advance it, chip it in, and go in and chase. But I think for them, just attacking and not sort of sitting on their heels. The issue is with McKinnon and Girard and some of these other D, they can get dancing across that blue line. I think you have to attack them a little bit more, but that just shows they play with such good pace and speed that it almost forces you just to freeze, to sort of almost hopefully that they skate into you. But ultimately, it's been Stolarz who's been playing great. 11 saves through 12 shots in that period, too. He's sort of been a rock back there, too. But what you don't want to do is have to overwork him now where he's making 15 or 20 in the third period. Luckily, they got away with the lead there, going 4-3 into the third, because they easily could have scored 1 or 2 more there in the last 5 minutes.
Okay, so there was a lineup change late in the second period. Holmberg got dumped off the second line, moved down to the fourth line, and who got moved up? Robertson. Robertson got moved up. So when I look at the grid on this roster, the only question mark for me is who plays on the left side of Tavares and Nylander. I'm talking about the playoffs, and if Pacioretty is healthy, I could see him there. Obviously, I think you would agree with that. But to me, it's because of his I guess his ongoing health issues or injury issues, it seems to me that that's sort of a floating spot in this lineup. Would you agree?
I think so. And the fans have been calling since last year. They want to see Max Domi up there with Austin Matthews, right? So I could see Domi with a little bit more increased workload. I think he'll play his way off of that third line and possibly end up, maybe with Tavares and Nylander. So I think they're going to experiment, and nothing against Holmberg. I think they have to find fits, and they have a little bit of a cushion right now in the division where, they can play with some lineups and move some guys up and down. I think Holmberg's playing a little bit above his pay grade and maybe his skill set. Nick Robertson there, and you've even seen McMahon struggle at times in the top 6. So I think it's going to be a bit of an addition, and other guys just sort of seeing if they can be a fit. But again, for me, ultimately, Tavares and Nylander have to be drivers. They can't rely on someone coming in and being a driver there. They can have a complementary piece, but it's going to come down to them really driving the ship on that second line for it to be a successful unit game in and game out.
Yeah, I just sort of look at that left wing spot in that line as sort of a revolving door. It's not going to be one guy for any length of time. There's going to be a lot of people in and out of there. Would you agree with that?
They missed someone on the deadline guy, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the only spot of that roster where there's a question mark. The rest of it's locked in.
If only they had Mikko Rantanen. But again, it's the puzzle that they created just sort of with the salary structure, right? Where, yes, if they had $7 million more in cap space to sort of create, yes, they could fill it with, maybe a Yanni Gord or, a Bjorkstrand or someone of that ilk, a $3-4 million guy. But I think right now it just creates a bit of competition. But I can see Domi, he's been hot and cold, mostly cold for most of the season, but I can see him being an X factor and moving up. There's still Yankrok, right? Yankrok is he's been told that he's just out for maintenance. He's possibly going to be in next game, but I could see him being that utility knife, eventually maybe sliding up and pushing and giving an opportunity. But Pacioretty, when called upon and being healthy, he's proven that he can be the guy as well too. So there's 3 or 4 guys in the mix. I could see them hitting on one consistently as the season drags along.
Yeah, to me, it's in a playoff series, it depends on who you're matched up against and who does the better job or you think's going to do the better job in that situation, in that series.
Yes, right. But you look at a Tampa Bay Lightning, who that potentially could be your first-round opponent, right? And you better figure it out quickly if you're playing against a Sorelli, Nick Paul, and Brandon Hagel, right? Because that's a line that can damage your first line, let alone your second line, where you're still trying to figure it out. But the good thing is they have some time. They have some time to experiment, move some guys in and out, and I think that competition will ultimately solve that puzzle on left wing too.
Leafs have a 4-3 lead over the Avs after 40 minutes of play. This is Leafs Game Night, Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Are you ready to go coast to coast? Thursday night. Why watch one game when you can watch them all? NHL Coast to Coast on Prime. Catch every pivotal moment every Thursday night live. 11 games are on tap. 4 Canadian teams in action. Brady Tkachuk in the house. It's time to go game to game, goal to goal, coast to coast.
Let's go. Get your popcorn ready.
NHL Coast to Coast. Free preview Thursday night on NHL.com.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Jan owns a home and a restaurant fusing French and Mexican cuisine. But she is fusing no more because her ovens have gone kaput. She called Alpine Credits, who sent their speedy superhero. With her business loan approved, her ovens were quickly fixed. The hero even had some of her poutine nachos. Yum! Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.ca/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed where work is performed. See website for details.
Dibs, one of the most powerful words in vacation planning. Next to Sunwing's save more, do more, that is. Why, you ask? Well, while you're asking, I'm booking. First Dibs means I just snagged that suite so fancy it makes my Instagram filters feel unnecessary. And since I booked before March 30th, let's just say my savings account and vacation plans are equally gorgeous. That's the thing about First Dibs. Book before March 30th with your local travel advisor or at...
This is a message from United Way to a Jesse M. of Mississauga. Hello, Jesse. You might be wondering why we made an ad specifically for you. Because, Jesse, you see, we're fighting poverty any way we can. Even cold calling a complete stranger over the radio. Bold, isn't it? Together, we can make sure everyone has what they need, like food, housing, good jobs, and mental health supports. Join people like Jesse to build a better GTA. Donate today at unitedwaygt.org. Thanks, Jesse.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go out of town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. After the first period, Chicago and Nashville scoreless. End of the second, Flames 1-0 over the Habs. End of the first, it is the Kings 1-0 over the Blues. And this is done. Kraken 4-1 over the Flyers. Senators got by the Rangers 4-3 in overtime. A yes guy here. The Bruins 4-0 over the Lightning. A no guy here. The Panthers 4-0 over the Sabres. And later tonight, Islanders and San Jose Stars in Edmonton against the Oilers. In our game, 4-3 for the Leafs over the Colorado Avalanche after 40 minutes of play. Oh, yes, guy. The third period is next. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
championship fantasy baseball team with the advice of SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Juan Soto is going to be a first-round pick. He'll continue to put up huge numbers.
Hear winning strategies and player projections from ex-Big League general managers Jim Bowden and Steve Phillips and former pitcher Jensen Lewis.
I love Bobby Wood Jr. over Shohei Ohtani.
Get ready for your draft by listening to our Experts Draft right now on the SiriusXM app and catch all your fantasy baseball talk on Channel 87.
NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito. You have to be cognizant of the chemistry when you go out and make a potential trade, don't you?
We enjoy a little bit of a benefit now where the room is so strong that they can absorb a lot. We just want seamless guys who come in. Your leaders are Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bobrovsky. That part, it takes care of itself.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on SiriusXM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Salah to score!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history!
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Leafs carry a one-goal lead into the third period of play and are being outshot 26-13 after 40 minutes. Avalanche took a 1-0 lead and then a 2-1 lead as Nikushkin scored a pair of goals around a Mitch Marner 20th of the season. But then John Tavares tied it with his 25th, and Marner with his second of the game in the first period made it 3-2. Tavares on the power play escalated the league to 4-2, but Kiviranta has gotten a goal for the Avalanche to narrow the margin again to 4-3. So it is a one-goal lead for the Maple Leafs carried into period number 3.
And the Leafs did see that perfect record. They were 27-0 when they took a 2-0 lead into the third period last Monday at home against the San Jose Sharks. Gave up 2 in the third, lost in a shootout. So that streak is over. So if you thought the San Jose Sharks at home with a 2-goal lead were a challenge in the third, this might be a bigger one in Colorado.
Leafs to the left, Avalanche to the right. Puck is dropped. We're underway. Shot in by McCabe into the Avalanche zone, and it's going to be covered up by goaltender Mackenzie Blackwood.
Oh, and that an icing? By the way, 5-19-1. That's the Avalanche record when trailing after 2. Yeah, I think they're calling this an icing.
Wow.
No,
okay.
Back to center.
No, back to center. All right, so
we don't know what they're calling it.
Now we have no idea. Well, in fairness, neither did they. So it's played down into the Avalanche zone again. Colorado gets it out. Now Nyes waits for teammates to get onside. Scoops it into the near corner. Got in there on the forecheck. Couldn't come up with the puck. It comes in front of the net. Marner couldn't get to it. Now he scoops it around, but unable to contact Nyes with it. And Makar has it back of the Avalanche goal. Cale Makar works it up on the left wing. Brought in by Lehkonen to get it down on a bounce in on goal, and Stolars has to play that cautiously and will bring a face-off in the Toronto zone.
He said even though Colorado's record is not overly impressive when trailing after the second, is so far this year when trailing after 2, they are 5-19-1, but they're plus 17 goals for and against in the third period. By far their best period goal differential this season.
Leafs pretty impressive record when they've been outshot this year. And they are certainly arranging for that here thus far in this game as a centering pass going to the net, and the shot was lifted off the stick of Nichushkin and went over top of the goal. Played down along the boards, and now Tavares trying to get to it. It comes free now, and Nelson works in, doesn't get a chance to get a shot away as Manson comes back to the blue line with it. Now a long shot in front, off a skate. Nylander unable to get to it, kept in at the point by Lindgren, over on the far side and into the slot for Nichushkin. His shot was deflected wide. Nichushkin has 2 goals on the evening. Long shot again, this time bounces to the side of the goal and in back of the net. A good collision there as a couple of Leafs went down, including Brandon Carlo. Kept alive again by the Avalanche with a centering pass. Blocked there by Carlo. Grabbed off by Tavares. Banked out at center ice, and the Leafs will get a much-needed change. But once again, it's the Leafs kind of using the rope-a-dope, having the Avalanche with a lot of zone time. Around back of the net, trying to come out with it is Kiviranta. It goes into the far corner, now back to the point with a long shot that went wide. Near side for Bobby McMahon, got it ahead, and here is Scott Laughton sending it off the boards, and now a flip in to the side of the goal finds McMahon. McMahon trying to find Laughton, and it's knocked away from him. And out come the Avalanche to get it to center ice. Pass in on the left wing. Dropped off there by Malinsky, played around the boards to the far corner. McMahon had a chance to get it, but is able to get it out at center anyway. And the Avalanche have to go back into their own zone. Now a giveaway, and now Domi trying to free it up, and a wrist shot taken by McMahon. Bounces out at center ice, and the Leafs will get to it at the red line, and it'll be shot right back in again. Avalanche have been guilty of giving a puck away in their own end, and the Leafs have countered with a quick strike offense that has them out in front 4-3. McCabe up against the boards in the Toronto zone. Puck in their skates, still free. Comes around on the wall, broken up there by Robertson. He quickly skates it out, but mishandles the puck, and it's back into the center ice area and under control for the Avalanche. 3 minutes in the books here in the third period. Both teams getting a change in as Devon Taves takes his time, and it'll be brought out at center ice by the Avalanche and played to the Leaf blue line. Broken up there, and Matthews circles and gives it off to defenseman Morgan Riley. Long lead pass in over the line for Marner. Marner shooting, and a glove save by Blackwood. Mitch Marner looking for his 4th hat trick of his career, but a good save by Blackwood's left hand.
Time Marner, right-handed shot on the left wing side. Said success going blocker side, but here tries to go far side glove. And Blackwood well out of the net there to cut down the angle.
Face off, won by Toronto. Marner gets in front, got a shot away, it was blocked. He gets it again. Oh, he had Nyes off to the side, but he couldn't control the puck. Brought to center ice, and Nyes breaks up the rush and regroups it with his defense. Morgan Riley circling back behind the goal, swings it around the wall. It'll get up on the wing, and now Marner makes a crafty little move with the skate to kick the puck down into Avalanche territory to allow the remainder of a change to be completed. Avalanche in over the line into the zone. Nekash trying to play it back, but it's turned back by Toronto. Brought on by Pontus Holmgren across the line. Nylander with him and Tavares. Bouncing puck came in front, but it comes to the line and out at center, and Nylander will skate back after the loose disc. He'll give it off to the defense, and Jake McCabe turns up ice, waits for some folks to clear. Got it up on the left wing, and it is flipped high into the zone there by Laughton, but not in deep enough. Leafs unable to come up with it at the blue line, and it is Myers who will send it down into Avalanche territory. They'll try the other side and get it in. It's going to roll to the goaltender, played by Stolars up on the wing. Domi banks it out at center. Not far enough for Scott Laughton. And now here are the Avalanche regrouping as the Leafs are changing. Brought on at center and shot into the Toronto zone. Myers on the near wing, quickly gets it right back out again. Domi in over the line, couldn't step by the one defender. And now it is in against the boards for Devon Taves to regroup back of the net. Taves trying to work his way free. Brought to center ice. Avalanche can't penetrate. They'll get it ahead again. Can't get it in over the line on a play that is now a delayed offside. Carlo taking his time, and now Brandon Carlo banks it to the line, and Lorenz will get it the rest of the way into the zone. Avalanche with it again. 4-3 Toronto. Bought in over the line by Ross Colton. Tried to play it in front. Brandon Carlo was there to get it up on the boards. Leafs can't clear, though. Comes to the near side. Lindgren sends it to an open corner. Carlo is there again. This time the bank pass does get out. And Nyes trying to make a pass. Has it knocked off his stick. Now he's in a little trouble, but he's able to get it to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who tried to make a breakaway pass there for Marner that was just knocked off the stick. Played ahead at center ice. Chopped at. Ekman-Larsson couldn't get to it. Necas works in over the line. Has her go off a stick, and Marner turns it back up ice and gets it down into Avalanche territory, but he's going to be beaten to the puck there on a race by Sam Malinsky. Malinsky carries to center. Got it up on the right side. Parker Kelly couldn't get it in front. Now when they do, a shot is into the chest of Stolarz off the stick of Necas, and so a face-off coming in the Toronto zone when we return. The Leafs 4, the Avalanche 3. 13 and a half minutes to go, third period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito. You have to be cognizant of the chemistry when you go out and make a potential trade, don't you?
We enjoy a little bit of a benefit now where the room is so strong that they can absorb a lot. We just want seamless guys who come in. Their leaders are Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bobrovsky. That part, it takes care of itself.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on SiriusXM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Salah to score!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history!
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the SiriusXM app.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favourite team.
Leafs are 14-3-3 in one-goal hockey games, and they have one going here with a 4-3 lead over the Avalanche. Face-off in the Toronto zone to the left of Anthony Stolarz. Tavares will lean in against Brock Nelson, the former Islander. Draw one cleanly by the former Islander captain. And the Leafs will break it out with Nylander coming through neutral ice with speed. Works in on the right wing. Got a weak shot away that hit the side of the goal. Gets it back of the net, but it's skipped by Pontus Holmberg. And now it is launched high to center ice by the Avalanche and down into the Toronto zone. Ekman-Larsson took Drouin out of the play. McCabe gets the puck around on the boards, and it's muscled out at center by Holmberg. And, wow, that was really close to the red line, but the linesmen aren't going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
and an icing call coming here against Toronto.
You know, John Tavares is pretty quick to snap at the linesman, so we'll see. Is this going to be another face-off at center ice? Yeah.
You see, complaining sometimes helps. Now, for me, it's never helped. Never helped complaining at all.
Well, what I admire is your perseverance.
I can moan about just about anything. You know what I mean? Played around the boards in the Toronto zone. Marner engaged there with Matthews, and Matthews comes away with the puck to get it back to the net for Morgan Riley. Riley gets it ahead for Nyes. Nyes drops it off, and here's Brandon Carlo working wide, going into the corner. Carlo stops up there, trying to play it into the far side for Matthews. Matthews couldn't get it away initially, then steals it. Matthews around back of the net into the near corner. Backhands behind the goal, and now here's the Leafs trying to organize with Marner. Bank pass back to the point it comes. Matthews doesn't shoot it. Plays it off to Riley in the left wing side. A centering pass. Marner just failed to tip it, and it's out at center ice now for the Avalanche. They'll get to the line, and here's McKinnon. Had it knocked off his stick rather adroitly. The Leafs get it out at center ice. Bobby McMahon was a little late getting to it. And with 12 minutes to go in the third, it's shot back into the Toronto zone. Played around back of the net. Chipped up on the boards. McMahon didn't see the pinching Ryan Lindgren coming in. Now it's brought back, and out come the Leafs to center ice. Played in by McMahon into the zone. He goes into the corner against Charlie Coyle. That draws a crowd. The puck around to the far side. Avalanche getting it up on the wing, but they don't get it out. Leafs will play it back in behind the net. Now both teams are changing. Now Josh Manson will take his time. Boy, his dad was an interesting player, wasn't he? Talk about a miserable guy to play against.
That's father Dave Manson, a longtime defenseman in the league, played for the Leafs briefly.
Yeah, long time in Chicago. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
And to let you know what kind of a man Dave Manson was, his nickname was Charlie.
Yeah, that does kind of narrow it down, doesn't it?
You can Google that if you want.
Yeah, for a lot of the younger listeners, that might be something. Yeah. Not sure he was really proud of that nickname.
But
it fit. Played out at center ice. Now the Avalanche get it in over the line. And the Leafs are going to play it to the line. And Nylander gets it out. And Holmgren was able to get it to center before being run over there by Drury, but the Leafs get across the line. Here's Nylander taking it wide. Mishandled the puck, but gets it again and goes around back of the net. Stops up and goes back of the net again. Tries to come out on his forehand and slid it to the side of the net. And Blackwood was wedged up against that near post, or Willie might have been able to slide it past him.
Parker Kelly with a glove into the face of Pontus Holmberg after that whistle as well. And it might have been because there was a pretty good collision between Holmberg and Drury. I think Drury just missed him.
And hit the dasher board, knocked his helmet off.
Yeah, so it looked like maybe Holmberg was the author of that play, but really it was Drury's inability to hit Holmberg on the boards right in front of the Colorado bench, but I think that might have been the reason for the glove in the face after the whistle.
Leafs have had 20 hits in the game, but a lot of that is because they've spent most of the time defending. Although they're better in this third period with zone time with 10:44 left in the period, and the Leafs up 4-3. Draw one by Toronto. Shot by Carlo was high and wide of the net. Along the boards, Nichushkin trying to get it out. Can't. Leafs with it again. Sharp angle try by Matthews. And Blackwood would have none of it as he was up against the post and then able to drop to cover up on the rebound.
Shots here in the third period, 4-2 for the Leafs. So you're right. They haven't been quite in full defense mode as we saw in the opening 40 minutes of this game. For the Leafs, everything has been almost a quick turnover and a quick strike. Colorado has had long sieges of puck possession time in the Leaf zone.
Draw to the right of Blackwood in the Avalanche end. Draw scrummed. Maintained by Nylander. Centering pass in front of the net. Pontus Holmberg. Oh, and he couldn't get it elevated over the pad of Blackwood, who made a great save. Centering pass. Nylander shoots. That deflects wide of the net. Holmberg with it back of the net for Willie. Nylander trying to center for Tavares. Gets it back to Nylander. Nylander to Tavares. Can't shoot it. Backhands it behind the net. What a great opportunity that was for Holmberg.
Well, he made a great little play, though, to get around his man first.
Nylander to the point. Kept alive onto the far wing for Matthews. Chip back of the net for Nylander. Nylander trying to get it in front. Matthews barges in and gets it back to the net. Matthews double teamed behind the goal, and it's grabbed off now by Manson, who plays to the line and out. Avalanche will get to center and get it down into the Toronto zone. Leafs with great pressure there from the two big lines, who came on back to back to back. On to Marner. Marner to the line and in. Left wing side for Nyes. His shot. That's deflected by Blackwood wide of the goal. Near side for Matthews again. Marner trying to help out. Necas will get it freed up. And Devon Taves comes to center to backhand it into the Toronto end. Out of the goal is Stolars to play into the corner. A bank pass gets the Leafs out at center ice. A rink-wide feed will find Brandon Carlo, and he'll pound it down into Avalanche territory. Scott Lawton couldn't make a pass as it hit a leg looking for Domi. Played around back of the net, and Makar starts back up ice for the Avalanche. Long bank pass looking to get it to Martin Necas, but it was wide of him and turns into an icing with 8:50 to go here in the third period, and the Leafs nursing a 4-3 lead.
Well, I mentioned Austin Matthews with now a 12-game active point streak. Mitch Marner, his 2 goals have him on a 6-game point streak. 5 goals and 8 points in that stretch.
Boy.
So it's almost like Matthews and Marner have reversed.
Yeah, he's doing the scoring and you're doing the setting up, and it's all backwards. Boy, Holmberg had a great move to get to the backhand, but couldn't elevate it another 3 inches to get it over the pad. Leafs back in their own zone with a lead pass at center. Domi gets in over the line, trying to find Bobby McMahon in the far corner. McMahon tied up. Domi adding support, and it's around the boards now, and now the Avalanche trying to work it up the boards to center. Good hit there, and Scott Lawton steals the puck. Back in over the line to Domi. Back in for McMahon, and it just failed to connect. Avalanche bring it back at center ice. Coyle ringing the boards with it and around to the near side. Chipped along the boards by Myers, but not cleared. Centering pass, scores! Drouin set up from behind by Brock Nelson. And this game is tied.
Leafs have not given up a lot here in the third period, but this was poor coverage. Right in the slot, similar to what we've seen from a Leaf standpoint, scoring goals. Is Jonathan Drouin wide open in the slot. And he takes the pass from behind the net. And Charlie Coyle will pick up his first point as a Boston Bruin. And Drouin ties it, and the Leafs see a 2-goal lead now disappear here with 8:05 to go in the third period.
9th of the year for Drouin, so both Nelson and Coyle, recently acquired, have drawn assists in this game. And now the Leafs trying to get across the line, but it bounced over Lorenz's stick and comes to center ice and down into the Leaf end. Played along the boards now for Brock Nelson. Nelson trying to dig it free. Chipped along, poked to the line. Lorenz can't get it another couple of feet to get it out. Battles for it, but now brought back in over the line by Nichushkin. He'll play it back to the net, and the Leafs have it again on the far side. Riley for Robertson. Robertson going to the bench. The Leafs get it ahead, and Lorenz just gets it in deep to allow the rest of his teammates to change. Lorenz trying to force the play as David Camp in against the wall. Can't come up with it. Nylander is out there as well. Played around the boards back of the net. Lindgren gets it freed up. And now the Avalanche get it out at center as Oliver Ekman-Larsson takes his man down. And now Jake McCabe circles the goal and starts out for Toronto. Right wing feed for Tavares. 2 goals on the night. Tavares into the corner. Plays it along the boards for Pontus Holmberg. Has it in his skates. Holmberg trying to come out with it. Has it come back to the point. D to D now for Ekman-Larsson. Couldn't handle it cleanly. Back of the net for Holmberg again, but he can't come up with it. And it's bounced out at center ice and down to the Leaf zone. 6:38 to go in the third, and we're now tied 4-4. Brought out now by the Leafs to center. Philip Myers winds and shoots, and he drilled that off a leg wide, and it caroms to the side of the goal. and is smothered by Blackwood. And Myers can certainly shoot the puck. Probably has the hardest shot as far as the Leafs defense core. But Drouin has tied the game for the Avalanche with 6:22 to go in the third. 4-4. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride.
What's up, Leafs fans? How we doing this evening? Thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, cheering on our buds, having a good time, partying with our friends from all over the world. Thank you so much for being here. Now, please, this is your friendly reminder. Check to see if you've hit that like button, if you like hanging out with us and if you like the content here. If not, then feel free to, just ignore it or press the thumbs down button. Whatever. It is what it is. Now, let's get back to the hockey. Go, Leafs, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
It's official. Worst season ever.
What? This is my favorite time of the year.
Winter? Really?
No, cruise wave season.
Huh?
Just listen. The experts at Sell Off Vacations can help you plan the perfect cruise. And right now, they're offering big savings and bonus offers like cabin upgrades and BOGO deals.
I'm warming up to cruise wave season.
Ask your local travel expert or visit
selloffvacations.com.
Leafs next action is Monday night in Utah. We'll have that action for you right here on TSN 1050 and the Leaf Radio Network starting at 10 o'clock. Talk about a bizarre time schedule for these teams. They've West Coast time in Vegas, then go not too far to Central, Colorado, and play an Eastern time start, 7 o'clock. And then going to Utah, and it'll be back at 10 o'clock. So, the price of doing business. Leafs with the puck in the center ice zone. Marner works to the line and in. Nyes heads to the front of the net. The pass by Marner broken up, but he trips his man. There's going to be a penalty here to the Leafs forward, and the Avalanche are going to go to the power play with the game tied.
Well, I believe it was Martin H.S. that Marner took down at center. That was after Marner got into the Colorado zone and turned, lost the puck. And as Natchez was trying to take off and go back the other way, Marner takes his feet out. And lots of time for Colorado to take their third lead of the night. They led 1-0 and 2-1 in the first period.
Penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks. Leafs are 2 for 2 in the penalty kill, but they lose the draw. Into the slot, Makar. That shot deflects to the near side. Neckash trying to work it back to the blue line. Centers, intercepted there by David Camp, but he can't play it out. Camp took his man down, and the Avalanche were crying for another penalty. Now Neckash back to the point to Makar. Cale Makar walks the line, drops it back from Nathan MacKinnon. Shot blocked in front of the goal, cleared to the wing, but not out. Drouin back to the blue line to Makar. Off a stick, but controlled by MacKinnon. MacKinnon works down into the half boards. Top of the circle, centers pass over on the far side for Drouin. Shot. Big pad save made. Leafs clear it away as Carlo gets it to the boards. Off a skate now. It's going to be deflected out into the center ice area. Leafs get much needed change going here. Makar almost coughed the puck up to Matthews. Puck back at center ice. Brought on now by Neckash. Cross the line. Bad pass. Intercepted by OEL. He gets it out and down the ice. 53 seconds left in the power play. Makar's back of the net. Works out at center. Drops the puck back. Neckash will bring it to the line and in on the wing, but it goes off a skate, and Brock Nelson couldn't keep it in. Avalanche Back at center ice. Leafs doing a good job of holding things up at the blue line, but now McKinnon gets in over the line, and he's drilled to the end boards by Benoit. Puck kept alive by Brock Nelson. Back to the point, over on the near side for McKinnon. McKinnon still with it, shoots, scores! Nathan McKinnon coming off the near boards.
Scott Lawton got just a bit of the pass across to McKinnon, but not enough to get it out of the zone, and McKinnon picks it up from the left wing circle, and that was one of the things you were afraid of with this power play. McKinnon's been off the board, and Lawton ends up, Joe, instead of going to McKinnon, he sort of veers towards the point, and McKinnon with a quick turn takes it from the left wing circle towards the net and snaps it far side past Anthony Stolarz, and the Leafs in danger of dropping another one when leading into the third period. 5-4.
26th of the year and the 99th point for the league leading point getter in the NHL. And Nathan McKinnon has given the Avalanche a 5-4 lead. Brought on by Pontus Holmberg, dropped off for Nylander. His shot deflected wide. Riley couldn't get it in front, and a long lead pass has gone astray, and an icing call will come here with 3:44 to play in the third period. The lead is seesawed back and forth. Third time the Avalanche have had a one-goal lead.
Now the Leafs, the third time in 4 games they've given up 5, and all three of those games have been on the road.
Face off to the right in the Avalanche end of the rink. Draw one cleanly by Toronto. Ekman-Larsson didn't shoot it. Marner gets it to the near side. A pass in, looking for a redirect for Matthews, but it went off his skate and out at center ice. Jake McCabe shoots it in to the Avalanche zone. Down the boards, Matthews to Marner, shooting. Blockered away by Blackwood, maybe his best save of the game. At the blue line, another shot in close, and it's knocked away by a scramble in front, but Marner has it again. Marner stops up, dropping it back to the blue line. A wrist shot deflects in front of the goal. They bang away at it. Oh, and it bounced over the stick of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and this allows Drury to bring it in on the wing. Pass, a great play made by Marner, sprawling to block a pass in front of the Leaf goal. Marner going to the bench. 2:55 to go. What a great play that was from Mitch Marner. Pass ahead by Carlo is broken up. Brought back in over the line by Nichushkin. Nichushkin centering pass. Broken up by the Leafs and brought out at center ice. Now turning the puck over was Lawton, but they get it ahead. Off a skate, it's gone high and into the bench with 2.5 minutes to go in the third period. And the Leafs trailing 5-4. As Nathan McKinnon took most of the game to get on the board, but it's a big one. Pretty good shot, too, wasn't it? Right over the shoulder of Stolarz, who was down in the butterfly. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bring home more from your in-car stations with the SiriusXM app. More than 200 streaming-only channels for every at-home activity. Music for kids, pets, even plants. Sounds for better sleep, breaking a sweat, and everything in between. Just search At Home to find it all with the SiriusXM app. At home on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
We welcome Utah's Barrett Hayton. Does the P word come up? Do you look at the standings on a daily basis?
You look at the standings, you obviously know what other teams are doing, but at the same time, we know what we have to do. And we talked about it kind of before.
What's up, insiders? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Maple Leafs game. Now's the time of the show for you to let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Speaking of which, where's Tom? Tom!
I'm right here, Dad.
Hey.
And I want to know where you're from, too, and see how far it reaches.
All right, so you heard the man. Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. City and province in Canada, city and state in the United States, all over the world. Let us know. Put your flag emoji in the chat, or let us know your city and country. So great to be hanging out with all of you tonight. Now, let's get back to the hockey. What are we going to start? Start the chant, Tom.
Go Leafs, go.
Yeah.
Nathan MacKinnon. The Nova Scotia native has given the Avalanche the lead, 5-4, 2:20 to play. Marner down the boards, can't get to it. It's played to the line, blocked there by the Leafs, and it's out at center ice. 6 attackers on for Toronto. Nylander back at his own blue line. Works to the line in on the right side, goes wide. Still with it as he banks it off the end boards around to the far point. Kept in by the Leafs into the corner, but the Avalanche get it free. They get out at center and shoot it into the empty net. Nichushkin will get the hat trick. And the Avalanche are going to win this hockey game.
Leafs get the puck at the left point and then try to force it back down to the boards, and that's picked off. And I'm not sure which Leaf it was, Joe, from the left point, that instead of trying to make a play to the middle of the ice, tried to go through 2 players. I think it was Morgan Riley. And seconds later, the Leafs are down by 2.
So they will clean up the hats from the hat trick.
So now the Leafs, who had that 27-0-0 record when leading after 2, have now dropped consecutive games when taking the lead into the third period. They blow a 2-0 lead against San Jose and now blow a 2-goal lead against Colorado. But the goals against has really got to be a concern. 5 against Vegas, 6 here tonight, 5 in Pittsburgh.
They have what they were so good at through the majority of this season, protecting a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, but even, I mean,
and keeping the game low scoring.
Yeah, and low event. And that's not what we have seen of late. They said even in the first 2 periods, it seemed that when Colorado had offensive zone pressure, the Leafs were just collapsing and giving up a lot of time and space. And even though you can go to the power play goal by Nathan MacKinnon being the difference in the third period, it was one before that by Jonathan Drouin, where you somehow had a guy, you're protecting a 1-goal lead in the third period, and you've got somebody wide open in front of the net that beats Stolarz and ties the game. To me, that was the one goal that Craig Berube, I'm sure, is going to be a little more sour at than the rest.
So the face-off at center ice. Minute 54 to go in the third period. And Marner comes to center and shoots it in. Marner playing the right point here. Leafs not going with 6 attackers. It comes back to Marner. Marner down into the corner. Matthews centers and went right through the blue paint. Riley creeps in on the left wing. Gets it back into the slot for Tavares. That was kicked away by Blackwood. Along the boards for the minute and a half. Marner back at the blue line, and now they have an extra attacker on, and the shot by Nylander went off of Blackwood and up into the screen and out of play.
Power plays in the game have been 4-2 for Colorado. And each team has banged one in on the power play. John Tavares in the second period for the Leafs, but Nathan MacKinnon, who was held off the board. By the way, a 19-game home point streak for Nathan MacKinnon. That was scary, though, when you get to the third period on a power play and he hasn't had a point yet.
Draw one by the Avalanche. Makar plays it out and down the ice. Riley trying to beat his man to the icing, and he does. And with a minute 17, it'll come all the way back into the Avalanche zone. So the Leafs will get a couple of days off, or 1 day off, I guess, and then Monday night will tangle with Utah. And it looks like The Leafs might have called a timeout here with 1:17 to go in the third period. But the goals against is the area that's got to be cleaned up. And it was the strength of this team for the majority of this season. Their goaltending was above average.
Yeah, but they were giving, I thought the difference was they gave them an opportunity to be good every night. It wasn't the odd man rushes and the multiple chances, long sieges in their own end.
But they've been outshot 33-20 by Colorado. And the zone time is, certainly in the first two periods anyway, was lopsided as far as the Avalanche were concerned.
The Avalanche have only had 5 shots here in the third.
Face off to the right of Blackwood.
Pardon me, 6, 5 on Stoller, so they've scored on 3 of their 6 shots.
Draw one by Toronto, just kept in by Marner. Into the slot, it comes back to the point. Wrist shot coming, it's deflected wide. Tavares can't get to it. Backhanded but not out. Marner keeps it in with a shot. That went high off a stick and wide. Nyes trying to get it in front of the goal. Backhanded against the boards, not out. And now the Avalanche do get it clear, and McKinnon brings it in over the line with an empty net and scores. So Nathan McKinnon will score a power play goal, and he'll score an empty net goal. And that will ice it if it wasn't already on ice.
The Florida Panthers beating Buffalo already today. The Leafs will drop to 4 points back of Florida for first and maintain their 2-point lead over the Tampa Bay Lightning, who lost at home to the Boston Bruins. We still have some 3 games left against Florida.
Leafs will have 1 game in hand and play Florida 3 times, and twice at home. And how large will those games be? Avalanche get it in over the line. Final 30 seconds ticking down as Robertson starts back up ice for the Maple Leafs. A pass ahead for Steven Lorenz. His shot is blockered away by Blackwood. Final seconds going into the books as a shot deflects in front of the goal. Avalanche will just get it out at center ice and shoot it down into the Toronto zone. So the arrival of Brock Nelson and Charlie Coyle both are in the score sheet as far as the newly acquired players. Not so great a start for the Maple Leafs, Scott Laughton and Brandon Carlo, as they will fall 7-4 to one of the premier teams in the National Hockey League in the Colorado Avalanche. And if you're putting some money down on the Big Cup, might not be a bad idea to put a shekel or 2 on their nose.
Well, it's going to take some time to get all these new faces blended together, but really it was not the primary scorers in this game. It wasn't Natchez, it wasn't McKinnon. It was the secondary scoring that got Colorado into it, and that was enough to outscore the primary scoring from the Leafs side.
So the Leafs drop a 7-4 decision. We'll step aside and bring on the postgame show with Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart. But first, an invitation to join us on Monday night at 10 o'clock when the Leafs are in Utah. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Baseball season's almost here, and MLB Network Radio will get you ready for opening day with a
Cheers, Insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Another great night here on TSI, where we hang out every single Maple Leafs game and chat it up. Cheer on our Maple Leafs. Lots of fun in the chat. I will let the post-game run as always.
Until that Frank guy comes on.
Yep, until my buddy Frank Trachtenberg comes on to let us know the schedule for all the games this evening. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Now go Leafs go, and we'll see you back in the chat. Enjoy the postgame.
91 and the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito, you have to be cognizant of the chemistry when you go out and make a potential trade, don't you?
We enjoy a little bit of a benefit now where the room is so strong that they can absorb a lot. We just want seamless guys who come in. Your leaders are Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bobrovsky. That part, it takes care of itself.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
We welcome Utah's Barrett Hayton. Does the P word come up? Do you look at the standings on a daily basis?
You look at the standings, you obviously know what other teams are doing, but at the same time, we know what we have to do. And we talked about it kind of before the break and using the break to kind of have a springboard to this last stretch, kind of be dialed in and feeling good right from the start and trying to build that momentum.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
Pittsburgh is the weirdest situation. It's like the start of the year and you tried to pretend that, we're going to do a retool on the fly. No, you're not. They're terrible, but the attitude, nothing to look here. Keep moving. Nope, Sid wants to play. They're terrible. Like Sidney Crosby's next game that matters is the Olympics. That could be the only time he plays again in a game that matters.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to. He played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Barnes gets it back. Stick handles for the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
The Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And coming out on the wrong end of a 7-4 score in Colorado, the road trip continues, and so far not much to show for it. Tough night in Vegas, tough night in Colorado. Welcome aboard, Jim Taddy, Anthony Stewart with you. Jimmy Ralph kind enough to hang around. Ralphie, 7-4, obviously a couple of empty netters. It's a 1-goal game, but Colorado at times took it to the Leafs, didn't they?
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't think there was a whole lot to like about their game tonight. I mean, I think you look at the start they had in Vegas. I know they got out to the 4-2 lead, but I don't know about you guys. You're sitting there going, this doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
And, ironically, they only give up 7 shots in the third period, and with the empty netters, 4 of the 7 find the back of the net. So I think it's been trending this way. You go back to the Pittsburgh game 6 days ago, the Colorado or the Vegas game. I mean, goals against, which was really the shining moment for the Leafs under Craig Berube early in the season. They haven't been able to maintain that or find that again. And I think that's concerning, especially when you look at the Florida Panthers. I think they've given up 1 goal in their last 4 games. So the Leafs have got to figure it out because this heavier, tougher to play against type of hockey, we haven't seen that in a while.
Well, I think one area where they struggled, especially in the Vegas game and tonight, was just sort of the speed and the quickness. And it's not just skating. I think Toronto matched their pace a little bit with the skating, but just making the plays and how fast Colorado was tonight. They just sort of outclassed them in that department, right?
Yeah, don't you find, though, too, Stewie, that they're very passive in their own end now when the opposing team has had the puck?
Yeah,
where it's a collapsed defense where it almost looks like it's a 5-man penalty kill. They're not aggressive, and you look at it's 5-on-5, and yet what you give up, the goal by Drew, and I think that's going to be the one that Craig Berube is going to be bothered by the most. You're protecting a 1-goal lead in the third period, and somehow nobody's got a guy wide open in front of the net that ties it. I mean, I think that's the disappointing part, that games that you should be able to lock down at least a little better. I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to the likes of Vegas and in Colorado with the talent they have. But, at that point of the game, you think guys have got to be very aware of who's on the ice and where they are and not give anything up that clean cut.
Well, I mean, that's the West, right? Big, heavy teams that can make plays. So I want to ask you this. If they're having trouble in their own zone, if they're allowing a lot of goals, is a lot of that on the absence of Tanev?
Boy, if he played 60 minutes a game, I'd say yes. I just think like the goal by Drew, and that's a missed assignment by, whether it's the centerman or both defensemen got caught down below the goal line. But I think it's more, Jimmer. It's more been a team problem, a 5-man unit problem and positioning that has cost them. Certainly, Chris Tanev is able to help erase a lot of mistakes, but. I think it's just more, positioning and at times guys not having their head on a swivel. I think you saw Bobby McMahon was sort of there, but you have, once you get both defensemen below the goal line chasing the puck, somebody's got to be aware enough to go to the front of the net and take somebody.
Small sample size, but what was your rating of the new guys?
I thought Carlo was good. Unfortunately, he was on for the first 2 Colorado goals. And Lawton, I think, once he gets his footing, he's going to be a good addition for that. I'm not sure how Lawton, Domi, McMahon are going to work down the stretch, but it'll be interesting to see if Craig Berube has a number of different options. But certainly, I think when you get, as Jimmer said, you get Tanev back and Carlo gets into the mix, hopefully that's going to turn things around defensively or have something to do with turning things around defensively for the Leafs.
Well, and where we are is the roster's set, and when you go up against a team like Colorado, who obviously did major surgery over the last few weeks, especially on Friday, you do sort of a grid matchup in terms of the forward units, and the one part that Stu and I were talking about earlier in the broadcast that's a bit of an open audition is the left side of the Tavares Nylander line. Tonight it was Holmberg. At times Robertson stepped in there. With Pacioretty's healthy, he's there, but it doesn't seem to be really set, does it?
No, and Bobby McMahon's had some time there as well, but nothing is really, McMahon's had more success with Domi and Robertson through the years, and yet you would think that, he'd be a good fit there, a straight line guy, heavy body, but you're right, that has been, something that seems to be like an ongoing, science test. Is trying to find some chemistry that'll work on that second line, and Holmberg, I think at times, we saw the 3-4 game stretch there where he was scoring, gave you some hope. Although one of those goals in Boston, was Nick Robertson that set him up to give the Leafs the tying goal late. But you're right, that is one of the things that you're kind of curious about, saying who's going to fit in there, because you'll see still the chemistry between Nylander and Tavares, but. I agree with you. I think it's going to be like an open edition that they've got to find some chemistry with somebody on the left side.
So do you think some of the deficiencies in the D zone were sort of masked by the previous great play of the goaltenders, and now that they're not really getting those timely saves, that's sort of why they're losing games, or it's just
that is a part of it too. I even thought and this isn't criticism. This is saying that the Leafs have had the luxury of great goaltending up to this point of the season, and now you see how hard it is to win when. The goaltending becomes a little bit average. Now, I know saying early in the season as well that the way the Leafs played in front of them gave them a chance to be good every night. And now, and I think you saw it when Joseph Woll got pulled in Vegas and Craig Berube called the timeout when it was 5-0. You could hear him saying, you're leaving your goalie out to dry. You're hanging him out to dry. So it's a combination of things, but that's definitely part of it where, they've looked human, they've looked average. During this last stretch, and a lot of times during the year, and this has only been the last 3 or 4 games it's happened. You remember even the game in Boston, Anthony Stolarz was outstanding and gave up 4 goals. So goaltending's been a part of it of late, where it's been average. It hasn't been terrible, but certainly not what they were getting in terms of quality starts earlier in the year.
Just kind of a different look for me as to past road trips. They had 2 really good road trips, and this one's an offer so far. It wraps up Monday night, but they just look different, don't they?
Yeah, and you've got to be really careful going down this road. But this you looked at the schedule, and this was one of the worst points of the season for the schedule. Yeah. And you thought maybe with the time off for the tournament, the Four Nations tournament. The guys would be rested well enough, but I think the road trip, and then you come home. And like I said, you got to be careful, because I know Calgary was on the road for 2 weeks right after. You don't tell anybody in LA how tough your road trips have been, or Vancouver for that point. But they don't, to me, they don't seem sharp mentally. You can take the physical side with that, but to play strong defensively, I think, you mentally, you've got to be on position-wise and everything else and trust each other. And hopefully, over the next stretch when they get back from Utah, and although they still have the California trip after that before the end of the year, but hopefully they can get things settled back in and get back to trying to win the 3-2 games.
Seems like they need another Four Nations break.
Yeah, or maybe 5 nations. Just
throw all 8 in there. Let's
give
go.
Give them a couple of extra days in there. Yeah.
Another 2 goals for Tavares. Now he's on track for his 7th 30-goal season. I think it's time to give him his flowers. And is this sort of a priority in the offseason to lock him in, especially with the uncertainty of some other players that may or may not be back? Like, I think he's come as advertised, and I think he's been not really given the respect of being that legitimate second-line center that this team has had the last 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, you almost wonder, is it going to get to the point where it's the same with Brad Marchand, right? Where they agreed on term, but then they couldn't agree on money. It'll be interesting to see. Yes, the cap's going up. But yeah, when you start looking down the road, there's going to be some interesting decisions to make. And I'll be honest to you, I think the spring has a lot to do with it. What direction the Leafs decide to go in. If you're going to end up rewarding guys for a great run in the postseason, or if Brad Treliving's going to say, hey, what we've got isn't working. And that's not taking anything away from John Tavares or Mitch Marner or any of the big four, because obviously you got to get to the postseason to have a chance. But it's going to be a very, very interesting time between now and whenever the end of the playoffs are for the Leafs, as to what direction and what the feelings are with all parties involved.
I agree with you, Ralphie. This is the point where you just say whatever happens, happens, and you deal with it. But for Tavares, I mean, when he signed that contract, the strong narrative was you won't get value in the last 2 years. And really, since the Montreal series and that big the injury that he had, people were expecting him to drop off. I mean, he's really found a way to stay relevant, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's and a lot of times it's. You're still impressed with the way, he gets in on the forecheck and creates offense with, stick lifts and winning one-on-one battles. And, that hasn't gone. He was never the fastest player in the league. So I don't think you sit back and say, boy, he's lost a step. But, he certainly had his moments. And you want to look around the league for number 2 centers, he's got to be, up there among the top. And I know that's what they didn't sign him to be. With the money that he made when he came over, but certainly a great option up the middle. And a lot of it might have to do with, what John Tavares says, go through his taxes again and say, okay, what can I afford to take here to stay in Ontario and play in Canada?
Yeah. Oh, well, money talks, as they say. Ralphie, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, boys. See you. I guess we'll talk to you Monday.
That's right. We will. We'll talk Monday. Jim Ralph, analyst, of course, on our Leaf games and on the Leafs radio network. And Stu, that talk about Tavares brings up the, we talked about this earlier about Marner. And obviously Leaf fans want these 2 guys back, but don't underestimate the interest that they would have in other markets. I'm not saying they're interested in it themselves, but other teams would have interest in both these guys.
100%. And, Tavares, if one word describes him in his tenure the last 7 seasons with the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's been consistent. He's consistently come in and 30, 35 goals every single year, close to a point a game. But he delivers. He delivers when called upon. So there's going to be a lot of teams out there. And, yes, we know he's 34 years old. He's turning 35 in September. But he seems, just based on him being almost like a hockey nerd, that's not a slight in any sense of the word. That's actually a compliment, that there's going to be multiple teams that are going to throw some, big money at him, right? And again, is it going to be the Stamkos contract that he got, 4 years, $7+ million, the Nashville Predators? Who knows? I could see him taking a discount, to potentially stay in Toronto, as he loves it here. But at the same time, there is the business side of it, and I think he's got to pay accordingly based on what he's produced the last couple seasons. And again, that doesn't start with a 3 or a 4. It's in the 5s or 6s, and I can see him easily getting that in Toronto or elsewhere around the league.
Well, look, Buffalo's a short drive. Detroit's a longer drive, but it's a drive. And so both those teams are desperate to get into the playoffs and might give them a year more than the Leafs would.
Or even Ottawa, right? Ottawa's
yeah, that's right. There's another drive. Yeah,
yeah. You can afford a chopper depending on how much they charge you there. You can take
a competitive race with the S-Guy chopper. Yeah,
right. But again, yes, there's players that are ultimately want to stay home and stay close to home. But again, it's different if he's on his last leg and he's got 1 year left or two. Like I honestly believe he can play another 5 years if he wants to. He wants to win a Stanley Cup, and I'm sure he's going to have plenty of options after the season.
So I agree with Ralphie. I mean, you just, at this point, you've done all you can do with this roster. You have to let it sort of decide its own fate, right?
Yeah, and again, that's why I asked Ralphie, maybe these were sort of symptoms that were creeping in the last couple months, and just they were getting amazing goaltending. And I don't think Stolarz was as heavy as he was or as great as he was before. I don't really blame him for any of those goals, but some of those saves, were routine, easy saves that he made in months past where they just seem to be getting past him. So, again, they could be dealing with a little bit of fatigue as well, too, but I think if the goaltenders are struggling a little bit, you need to find a way to insulate them and play a little bit better. But I think the key to this and fixing a lot of these problems is Tanev, right? Blocks a lot of shots. He breaks up a lot of plays. He breaks out the puck, at times with ease. So I think once he's back and 100%, I think that's 50% of their problems in the D zone solved.
Okay, just before we break, we'll hear from John Tavares now and how this one got away from the Leafs.
Obviously a very dangerous team offensively, skate extremely well, and we put ourselves in a good spot, especially we weren't carrying most of the play through the first 40, but defended hard. Stoli was great and capitalized on our opportunities, and we just a few too many mistakes that led to opportunities for them, and we weren't able to find another one in the third.
What's your early impression here of Lawton and Carlo, and what was your reaction to those trades?
Yeah, excited. Two veteran guys that play I think a style of play that's going to be really liked by our fan base, and that's going to complement our team really, really well. Just very smart hockey players, but compete extremely hard, play in a lot of areas that maybe don't always get highlighted a ton, but just execute so well. Their ability to defend, to check, block shots, but also to make plays when they're there. So both those guys have that ability. So I'm sure a lot going on with travel, meeting everyone and getting data with how we want to play and all those sorts of things. So I thought they were good, and we'll only get better from there.
There's multiple reports out there that the team asked Mitch to waive his no trade for Mikko Rantanen in this sort of trade. I know he doesn't like to talk about it, and you're kind of going through it too, but how do you think Mitch has handled this whole season of the uncertainty?
I think Mitch is just focused on being a Leaf and doing everything he can to help this team. I think he's a great player. We love him in here, and we're just continuing to do what we do. We don't listen to any of those things that go on. It's all part of the game, part of the business, but we love him, and he's playing great.
Is that ditto for you?
Pardon?
Ditto for you? You're just going to be in the Leaf and doing all you can?
Yeah, I love it here. I've stated I want to stay, and team wants to take its time, which I totally get. So, they know how I feel and want to make things work. So there'll be time for that. Right now, we're focused on earning a playoff spot and doing something special this year. So that time will come.
Why have you been open to talking to the team about negotiations during the season? I know some guys like to not have it happen.
It doesn't. I don't know. I don't see it as an issue or a thing that bothers me. But most importantly, I'm just focused on the task at hand. And when that time comes, we'll get there and we'll work through it. So most importantly, focused on what happened here today and learn from it. Got to get better and ready for a big game Monday.
So, Stu, there's your question. You said in the postgame when they ask about contracts. There it is. There it is.
But it only took to March 8th. So if you told me it was going to happen March 8th, I'd be there's no way we're going to hear about this November 15th. So great job. Great job, Maple Leafs and Co.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they stretched it out, didn't they?
They did. But again, Tavares is a pro. You're not going to really get anything out of him too, and he's not really going to speak for the business of Mitch Marner, but he handled it perfectly. And again, I could see something getting done potentially after the season with Tavares. Marner, based on the reports, we're just not too sure at this point.
Yeah, well, that's an ongoing story for sure. 7-4 Colorado wins. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
Joe and Lucy needed a new roof and reached out to Alpine Credits. I flew over to help them with a home renovation loan. I suggested they transform their house into a giant robot head, beams that shoot from the eyes. Pew, pew! Instead, they just went with shingles. But it's pretty glorious.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Touchdown.
Great catch. Give me a high five. 5 minutes later. Hey, give me a high five. 2 hours later.
Eddie, did you order 20 high five specials from 2 for $1 pizza?
You kept asking for high fives.
I meant, never mind. I'm hungry.
High five. Buy any large traditional pizza and get up to 3 medium 1-topping pizzas for just $5 each.
Whatever the weather, CMC Markets is here to help. Planning for a rainy day? Enjoy $0 commission on U.S. and Canadian share CFDs. Riding out the storm? Get ahead of the curve with lightning fast execution speeds. Blue skies ahead? Go with the trusted broker backed by over 30 years experience. Switch to CMC Markets and join over 275,000 global traders. Learn more at cmcmarkets.ca. FX spreads apply. CFDs involve a high degree of risk. Member Canadian Investor Protection Fund. Umbrella not included.
Leafs game night, TSN 1050 in the Leafs Radio Network. Colorado wins 7-4 over the Leafs in Denver. A couple of empty net goals. Tavares with 2, Marner with 2. Tonight's post-game comments powered by your Ontario Honda dealers. Power meets play with the all-electric Honda Prologue SUV. Available now at your Ontario Honda dealer. And this is Mitch Marner, post-game thoughts.
We gave that team a lot of offensive chances, a lot of rush chances. I think you're not going to set. You're just going to be better with their pucks, better with their play. Sucks.
What did you make of the 2 new guys tonight? How they fit in?
Yeah, great. I mean, it's obviously hard, traveling late last night into a new system, new group of guys, but I thought they came in and played great. New system for both of them. So, I was happy with how they played. I thought they, just went out there and did their thing.
There's multiple reports out there that you were asked to waive your no-trade part of the contract talks, et cetera. How are you handling all that? What's going on? Can you tell us?
I'm here to play hockey with this team. That's what I can tell you. I want to be with this team. I want to play with this team. So,
how do you handle the uncertainty that comes with this season?
Sorry?
How do you handle the uncertainty that comes with?
I got a great support staff. I got a great group of guys in this room as well that I can lean on. So, but off the ice, I got a great support staff that I can lean into a lot, talk to a lot, and just hockey. I just go out there and do my thing.
Why are you willing to negotiate in season? Or are you waiting?
Like I talked to you guys at the start of the year. I'm not going to get into this. I'm here to play hockey. Let that happen with my agent and the team, and I'm here to play hockey and do my thing. Did it surprise you at all when you were approached yesterday? I wasn't focused on it. I'm sure that I had a feeling that maybe something might happen, but I'm here to play hockey with this team, like I said, and I'm focused with this team, and that's what I can tell you. Does it mean something to you that the team obviously is eager to get something done? Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm like I just said, I'm just here to do my thing on that ice. Try to help this team win games and do the best I can out there. So that's where my mind's at. It's not off ice. It's not off anything else.
Do you envision yourself being able to leave next season?
Like I talked to you guys, man, I'm not going to get into any of this contract stuff. I've been very grateful, and I've loved my time being a Leaf. So that's why I'll leave it with you guys. And we got 20 games left here that aren't going to be easy. We got to make sure we just keep our foot down on the gas here and give ourselves the best position to go into playoffs.
Are you curious about what Utah's all about as a hockey market?
A little bit. I mean, I've talked to Kerfoot quite a bit. He just signed an extension there as well. That was great for him. So I've talked to him a little bit. He's enjoyed it. His family's enjoyed it. So, looking forward to going there and hanging out with him a little bit. And just, it's been a while since we've seen him. So, we'll see what it's all about. But excited to see what the arena and the fan base is like.
Well, Stu, from the Bill Belichick School of Answering a Question.
I'm just here so I don't get fined, but that's
well, I mean, that's it's lucky, like you say, March 8th could have just as easy could have been November 1st.
I am shocked, right? But again, I'm also shocked too. Like, again, I've had some media training over the years, and I'm sure you've worked with a lot of people too. I'm just shocked that there hasn't been a little bit more preparation and giving the media something, right, where you can actually address it.
You get ahead of it, or it plays
ahead of
you.
it, it's addressed, and then you leave it alone. So now what's going to happen is there's going to be poking and prodding now for the next couple weeks. And what is sort of kept this team afloat and kept the noise at a minimum was winning. So now, if they start losing a couple more games, and then now maybe Tampa Bay catches them, I could see this sort of spiraling out of control. So, for me, with the corporation that the MLSE is and the millions of dollars that these guys are making, like just being able to handle this as opposed to just coming in and giving a nothing burger. So, again, it is what it is. And again, he's going to say what he does. But again, if he wants this to go away, I think he has to address it properly and saying like, hey, you know what? I am going to hit the market. I've earned that opportunity. I don't really know what I'm going to do. And I want to see the play out. And I think that's the end of it. But it just seems there's this cloud of mystery throughout this whole entire Maple Leafs organization when it comes to injuries, trades, whatever it may be, where, again, it's just address it so it just goes away. So, again, for me, I guess I'm, happy and, fortunate enough to play where the media didn't care if I was coming or coming back or not. But, again, I just don't want this now to take away from what the main storylines of this group has been. It's been a fantastic group. The goaltenders were playing amazing. They were getting some great performances from Nylander, Tavares, and Marner's, poised to be his first career 100-point season. But now we're getting into, this is sort of the stories of years past where I could see this sort of railroading it and making it a little bit more frustrating, which I don't want to see because I'd love to focus on the positives.
Well, look, the story is it's not the contract. The story is, and this is where you get ahead of it because nobody's done anything wrong. The story is the not wanting to waive your no movement clause, and so if that's factual and we believe it is, there's no reason to believe it isn't. All he's doing is exercising his own contract that was agreed to by both parties. So, but there's no bad person here.
No,
but you want to get ahead of it because if you don't, you turn into the bad person.
100%. There is a business side to hockey, and it goes both ways, right? With respect to the potential free agent and the team. So, again, for me now, it's just I'm turning off my phone. I'm not going on the morning show. I'm not going on the afternoon show. Obviously, I'm going to do my regular hit on Tuesday for Yes Guy, the show, obviously.
Oh, don't forget Thursday.
And Thursday as well. And it's still going to be in the headlines until something, until they, someone hits 30 goals or something like that. So it's just frustrating because I'm like, I was dreading this moment, and I knew something was going to happen, whether it was going to be after the playoffs where, maybe the storyline sort of dies. But now I think is the worst time, coupled with a couple losses in a row. And again, Marner can be a little bit moody with regards to the media, and I could see this really derailing his, his sort of this month that he's had that's been so great since coming back from Four Nations.
Well, look, he's a great hockey player and has really done a great job for the team this year. But where we are now is the deadline's happened. The roster is set. And from here on in, you get judged on the positives. And if there aren't any, guess what? It turns on you. I mean, that's the cold hard analysis is because of this team has failed so many times in the playoffs. If it happens again, there will be a price to be paid.
Yes, all right. And again, this is the group that scored 4 goals tonight. And this is the first time I think they've lost where scoring that many goals in a long time. And if they would have won the game, I don't think we would have even had the conversation of, well, what's going on with that left wing 2-hole? Or how are we going to fill that? What's going on? So,
but you get to that because you see, like when you do the grid on Colorado, they don't have a hole on the left side on their second line.
Yeah.
In fact, their guy got 3 goals tonight.
Yeah, they filled 7 holes.
Yeah,
right.
Well, their second line left winger scored the hat trick.
Yeah, I heard they didn't like the team service guy. They replaced him, and they got a better version of that to make sure they have pink sauce. But again, it is. But again, at the same time, the difference between Colorado and Toronto is they had an internal cap, and if you're gonna think you're gonna come in here and make more than Nathan McKinnon, you're not. You're gonna be stuck under 12.5. But that hasn't been the case, and the problem with Toronto Maple Leafs and why you have these holes is you have these forwards, multiple of them making over $10 million. And back in the 90s or whatever, if you were a superstar, there's 1, maybe 2 guys making that much money. So the issue is now just with that extra $7, $8, $9, $10 million that they're paying the big 4. you're going to have those big holes. So you have to solidify that with some cheap young help. That's why I wasn't really advocating for trading a Minton or a Cowan, because you need those young guys. Look what Nyes is doing, Nick Robertson, and it's something you have to address possibly in the offseason. But now the storyline is Marner now gets run out of town. He's gone. How do you fill those holes? You're going to be looking for the next Mitch Marner. And no, I'm not coming on July 1st. I'm taking a break. I'm going to the beach. And
but believe me, some people would like that to be the answer, to move him out, but that's not the answer.
Yeah, but we'll see. But we can all agree he's a great player. He's a big part of this group. He will go down. If he retires as a Leaf, he probably will go down as a top 5 Maple Leaf of all time. So that's where I'm thinking, regardless of my head or my heart, I think cooler heads will prevail, and I think they sort of get something done. I think they get something done when it's all said and done. This noise was surrounding his contract status last time. I could see them getting it done again this year.
Well, we're at a fork in the road. That's all I'll say about it. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The best golfers in the world are returning to the Stadium Course for the Players' Championship. And you can hear all the action on SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio.
Racing towards the flag. This is a good-looking shot. He made it! Rory McIlroy!
All next week, we have coverage from TPC Sawgrass with analysis and player interviews and play-by-play coverage starting Thursday the 13th at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yes! The Eagle lands from the bunker! Scheffler!
Hear the Players' Championship, Channel 92, and on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Defending Stanley Cup champion, General Manager Bill Zito. You have to be cognizant of the chemistry when you go out and make a potential trade, don't you?
We enjoy a little bit of a benefit now where the room is so strong that they can absorb a lot. We just want seamless guys who come in. Your leaders are Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov, Bobrovsky. That part, it takes care of itself.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Salah to score!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history.
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favourite team.
Leafs Game Night. Colorado wins it 7-4 over the Leafs. Leafs go on to Utah Monday. We'll have the game starting with pregame coverage. Stu and I at 9:30, so 10 o'clock face-off or thereabouts, or hopefully it's not like in Vegas where they took it to 10:22 to drop the opening puck. Don't think that's going to happen in Utah, but nonetheless. So let's go over the new guys. Carlo tonight played 22:04 and was even. And who else am I looking for? Oh, he's right in front of him. Scott Laughton was -2. 11:54 is what he played. So what was your take on I mean, obviously it's not a judgment, but, guys don't know the system. I think Laughton got burned on one of the goals in the third period where I don't know if you would blame him for it, but clearly Drouin was open.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? There's the human element, right? You're coming into Colorado, which is a fast-paced team, and, I was a guy that it took me forever to break in new gloves and helmets and everything else, new pants, and that's not an excuse, but, hockey players are all about habits. They're creatures of habits and their routine, so just being thrown right into the mix right away, yes, you're professionals, but it's going to have a bit of an impact on how you get prepared and ultimately perform at the NHL level. So for Scott Laughton, again, yes, I think he probably wanted to maybe finish even or in the the plus column. But again, that line had some moments, right? Remember, McMahon is now on the right side where he was on the left side before. Domi's switching from center to the wing as well. So it's going to take some time to build some chemistry, or they're going to be interchanging pieces to sort of see, what fits there. So I think for Scott Lawton, he's just got to focus on winning his faceoffs, finding a way to play a good two-way game. But I'm not going to assess him after one game, right? So he was 57% in the faceoff circle, 4 wins, 3 losses. So again, was it spectacular? Was it a spectacular debut where we expected him to come in and do it in the Kushkin game with the hat trick? No. But for a first game, I think he was fine.
Yeah, and the ice time, probably looking at a little more in a playoff game, but, I mean, that's his role. He's not going to get big minutes, but he's going to get important minutes.
Yeah, and I think he's averaging, I was just taking a look now, 15 minutes with the Philadelphia Flyers, right? So he's a guy that, he has 27 points. So that puts him mid-pack with regards to forwards. He's got 100 shots on net, and, he finds a way just to sort of play the game the right way. So it's going to take him some time to get some footing. I'm sure, after 1 or 2 home games where he gets the crowd behind him, he gets back, gets set up either at his house, apartment, hotel, whatever it may be. It's going to take a couple weeks to sort of see the old Scott Lawton, but ultimately where he's going to be judged is what he does in the playoffs, and that's stabilizing that bottom 6. And after 1 game, even 10 games, you're not going to know exactly what you have in him. It's going to be after that first game in the playoffs, you're going to know exactly what you get from a Scott Lawton.
Tonight's Coach's Comment is powered by your Ontario Honda dealers. Power meets play with the all-electric Honda Prologue SUV, available now at your Ontario Honda dealer. And this is Craig Berube after the game on how the lead got away from them.
Yeah, that's how we battled hard. The second period wasn't great. We spent a lot of time in our zone, but we came out of there with a lead still. And I thought our third period was the best period. We made 2 mistakes. Back of the net goal, just that shouldn't happen. And we turn the puck over to the offensive line, take a penalty, and they go and score and get the lead. So it's just mistakes for me. It's a tough place to come in and play, and when you can hold the lead going in the third, we're right there to shut it down. And just got to clean up the mistakes.
What'd you make of Lawton and Carlo?
Yeah, they were fine. I know Lots, he was on for a couple goals against, but overall, I didn't mind him, and I thought Carlo was good.
How challenging do you think it is for those guys to jump in without a practice?
It's not easy, no practice, but like I said, they've been around a long time, and it takes a little time to form chemistry and just figure everything out.
Playing reports about contenders like Vegas and Colorado, did you learn anything?
Well, we got to stop making mistakes like they are, because they capitalize on it. They're good teams, they're good players. We did a good job against McKinnon tonight. I know we got the power play goal, but we need more guys to step up and do a job. And the mistakes got to go. They got to get cleaned up, because that's what's costing us right now these last 2 games. It's just mistakes.
There's reports today that Brad asked Mitch to waive his no trade to trade him for Rantanen and stuff like that. How do you think Mitch is handling kind of the noise that's sometimes around a guy that's as big as him and a pending free agent?
Yeah, I got no idea about that stuff. That's all tree. Mitch is playing. He's here playing for the Leafs. I'm glad he's here playing for the Leafs.
What did you see from him tonight?
What's that?
What did you see from him tonight?
Mitch?
Yeah.
I thought he had a good game. Competed hard, Scored a couple goals. That Matthews line did a good job against McKinnon's line for the most part. He's just, again, it's make mistakes at the wrong time. And, we turned that puck over in high ice there, and we had to take a penalty, and got to stop that. That's what's killing us right now.
So, Stu, I think you'd agree. It's on everybody. I guess the ultimate question would be from a spectator's viewpoint is, how does a team get sloppy like that at this time of the year? It's really a non-negotiable time of year. You just can't do it, but it goes on.
Yeah, well, they are coming back from the Four Nations break, right? But there is a compressed schedule with regards to travel and all that. So they're playing a lot of games, a high volume of games in a short period of time, and that affects your performance. There's no way around it, right? But again, that's why you train in the off season. That's why you have sports scientists and you have sleep doctors and all that. So you have to find a way to push through. And championship caliber teams do that, right? You saw, we talked about in the second intermission. I'm like, well, Nathan McKinnon's numbers don't look too great going into the third period. So you know what that means? He's going to have a great third period, and he did, scoring 2 goals and the eventual game winner, right? So I think Craig Berube is right. Some guys have to elevate and find a ways to take over. So I'm looking for an Austin Matthews, and Marner had a great game, maybe a Nylander. Tavares did his job scoring 2 goals. So for me, it's you have to play the percentages. I'm looking at the backbreaker is that 4-3 goal, 4 minutes and 52 seconds left in that second period. Kivi Rancha, they have a bad change, and they just have a bad recovery, right? And the one thing I can tell you from watching Colorado Avalanche games from the last 2 years, staying up till midnight, they are a fast transition team. So if I know that, sitting here watching from afar, they knew that, so the details just weren't there. But that's the fatigue. When you're tired, you're not as sharp, you don't pay attention to those details as much, and it's going to burn you against a Vegas, a Colorado, even a Utah who's fighting for their lives. So no one's going to feel sorry for them, but it's going to take some time. But again, they've built up a lot of equity throughout the year. They're still fighting for the division. Let's not hit the panic button. But again, there are some symptoms creeping into their games where I can see it affecting it, where now, you're looking at a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, 1 point behind them. They're 4 points behind Florida, 1 point ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning. This noise can now, if they're getting into Ottawa Senators territory, we're gonna have a big problem here. But again, I think we're fine. We're fine. Yeah. Let's not get too crazy and ahead of ourselves.
Well, sometimes you have to do a 360, and so the other part of the circle is what about Colorado? Well, Colorado's in the midst of a 6-game homestand. This was game 5 tonight. They've won all 5, so they're not worn out. They're at home, so I mean that works that way. And the other thing is, I agree with your point. That 4-3 goal in a playoff series, that could be a disaster.
That could be a backbreaker, the difference between, winning a game and ultimately the series. So those are those details where, when they've paid attention to them many times more often than not. But I think it's the fatigue factor. So let's get them back, get some home cooking, get some guys back to their own beds, and then let's assess. But again, time's ticking because Tampa Bay's coming and Florida's running away with, multiple wins in a row.
Yeah, and all these teams made even more trades than the Leafs did. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Stu, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Always great working with the Tap Man.
Oh, that's copyrighted. Excellent. Thank you very much. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
Hit hard on the iPhone where you could rate a kid's looks if you're a high school student. And so judging other people on a social media app on the iPhone was about 2013. And so now you think about all these kids going to high school, and we never had this. They could be made fun of on social media. They don't even know it, and they're walking out of a classroom and people are laughing. Yeah. So it's a different world we all live in because we're all criticized and
What's up, insiders? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. A tough loss for our buds, 7-4. We lose it late to the Avs on Hockey Night in Canada. Tonight was a historic night here on Toronto Sports Insider, the first triple header on TSI of all Toronto sports teams. We've done triple headers before during the playoffs of other events while we're raising money for SickKids Hospital right here in Toronto. Thank you to every one of you in this community. Cheers to the chat. Minnie, Shield, Donatello, Shield, my brother, Colorado Kid, The Burninator, Carmen, Stefan, Mr. Roboto, Rod Bottomley, Richard Fewer, Lisa Aiello. The list goes on and on. Pike's Wrath, Don Donaldson, Victor. There are so many names, I can't even begin to list them. But this is my channel, so I will. One day, I'm going to go through this list. I'm going to write everything down one day in the future. But we're doing big things here on G6 Entertainment and Toronto Sports Insider. We just created our first video to be launched on G6 Entertainment's standalone website, YouTube channel, coming soon, as well as Chicago Sports Insider. But tomorrow morning, we're going to be sending everybody from this stream directly to the soccer channel that started this madness, Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. TFC Till I Die, you guys saw it during the TFC stream tonight. Lots of fun as well during the Raptors game. What a Raptors win tonight at the end of the game, 119-118. We had over 300 people watching at the end of that game. As well, here in the Leafs game, we had, I think, like 1,300 or 1,400 towards the end of the game when it got crazy. Just got the logo done for the Bracket Mania campaign for SickKids Hospital. It's going to be insane. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow morning in the soccer stream. Manchester United against Arsenal. What we do here, same thing over on SOP Soccer, but my friend True, who you see the logo, and I'll run it again here. You guys know True. He's over in England. Big reason why we are here where we are today. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you on Monday night. A big night on Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. Big, big night. New website. Monday night. We'll see you then.
Blackhawks on Internet 925. 8 p.m. LA Kings face the St. Louis Blues. Kings on Sirius 211 XM222 and Internet 932. Blues on Internet 944. 10 p.m. San Jose Sharks face the New York Islanders. Sharks on Sirius 208 XM219 and Internet 942. Islanders on Internet 937. 10 p.m. Edmonton Oilers face the Dallas Stars. Oilers on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 930. Stars on Internet 928. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Saturday, March the 8th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 12:30 p.m., Ottawa Senators take on the New York Rangers. Senators on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 939. Rangers on Internet 938.
Follow every second of the action on NHL